And we're starting meeting up again in the courtroom. Celia Rigler is here from the Sheehy's office, Senator Sheehy's office. I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, by way of introduction, thanks for having me here today. My name is, like you said, Celia Rigler. I am Senator Sheehy's new Eastern Regional Director and Agricultural Liaison. What that means is I'm kind of point of contact for him for the Eastern region of the state. I have 23 counties, in my area. And then agricultural liaison for the entire state. So any sort of issues in Eastern Montana, and then on top of that, any ag issues, feel free to reach out to me with them. I'm pretty new in this role, started in June. So just kind of traveling around, getting to know local officials, getting to meet people. And my goal with this meeting is kind of to get to know you guys a little better, and then to get to know maybe some of the top federal issues that face Prairie County, and then any other issues that you'd like to flag for Senator Sheep.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Well, I thought it was a nice conversation. I don't know, but one major issue that I'd like to see resolved are gravel pits. And I was just talking to Celia about what we've talked about before is on title on those lands to put it in the county's name instead, and take the BLM off, just put it in the county. We're not gonna change anything, not gonna do anything. We're still gonna meet DEQ regulations. That's a given. It just will be softer with the rules and we had to hire a consultant, and they told us because we weren't getting it done. In the past, we've always applied and got our own permits. And it's just become so difficult that it's almost impossible. So we hired a guy. Matter of fact, he's gonna be here Monday, and we're gonna look at a second pit about placement. And all I'm saying is if we could hold title as a county for those properties, we could do that, meet all the requirements, and at the point in time when that's mined out, if it does, it would revert right back to the feds, and then they could manage it however they want to.
Yeah, that's something that I can certainly flag for the senator and we can look into. I know that recently there was a lot of uproar about the lands getting transferred over. I know that it's to another government entity, but like I said, certainly happy to look into it.
The purpose for that, I just so happened, well, I'm not anymore. I just got fired. But I was the Public Land Steering Committee for NACO, the chair. I was the chair for 3 years. And one of the issues that's going on in Utah and a lot of the desert counties is that they're enclosed or landlocked by federal land. They have a housing issue and they have the avenue to build more housing and no place to put it. So they would like to have some of that be non-disposable properties for the purpose of housing. And that was, as soon as you talk about federal land being sold or given away to another entity, it seems to stir the pot.
Well, we can go to the Interior Department and talk to the secretary, but it's better if it comes from a senator. It just is. Sorry,
No, that's right. Another issue that we should talk about, we hope that your senator supports Dane's bill called the Small Pilt Parity Act.
What?
It's called the Small Pilt Parity Act, Small County Pilt Parity Act.
I know the things. I haven't seen that bill yet, but I'll look into it and let you know.
It should be up for hearing before the end of the year.
Todd's done a lot of work at the national level on it. Senator Daines will remember it. I'm
Danes
sure.
came into NACO in Philadelphia to talk about it, his staff. Seisman, Josh Seisman.
Oh, yeah. I said, they're pretty well aligned on a lot of things, so. I'll look into it, but I think it's pretty, but.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a problem. And Senator Lee, who is the chair of Natural Resources, Energy and Natural Resources, is in favor of it too out of Utah. Was the first time around anyway, when it passed 18-2 and never got their appropriations. One Democrat and one Republican voted against it. In Manchin, it was the Democrat that voted against it. Because he wanted to look at the entire PILT formula. So he opposed it. He says, I'm not in recording. He said, I'm not against it. I just think we should go farther. He's looking for something for his lost coal revenue. Like SRS, but you can't do that because it's not federal land. Go ahead. Anything?
Milton is more in my mind,
Sure.
make a lot of difference for,
Oh, yeah.
we're what, 48% federal land here,
49% public.
public land.
Federal and state.
But it would help our tax base immensely. Then that same old, same old. Less paperwork would be nice.
Yeah. Get out of the way. Let us do the work. Okay.
Shane,
Can I speak, Mr. Chairman, if you guys are done?
it's up to her.
Oh.
Fine.
I'm Celia. Here.
Shane Eaton.
Hi, Shane.
If you have a minute or two, I guess maybe you talked about it, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm trying to harvest. I'm not sure if they talked about, using gravel from the Bankhead Fuel plant that we have in Prairie County. And it explicitly, as far as I'm concerned, lays it out and in the Taylor Grazing Act where, citizens, the community get to use the gravel for roads. And the commission's been fighting that, we've been trying to get roads gravelled, because we do have so much public land. I wouldn't call it public land, I'd call it unappropriated federal land. Cause a lot of it was already appropriated once. And so we have all these people come to our county and use the roads, but we can't use the gravel that's been allowed for us to use under Taylor Grazing Act. And that's still the law of the land as far as I'm concerned. Nobody's flipped it over. And so the county's been having a fight tooth and nail just to try to get and use some gravel. The other thing I'd like to ask Senator Sheehy to do is get some judges approved.
Mm.
I mean, Senator Thune's acting like a rhino, which he is, and that's why the Montana Republican Party endorsed Rick Scott over John Thune. And I know Senator Daines nominated Thune, and we were really disappointed that. I'm not sure where Senator Sheehy was on it because they're behind the door vote. But we're not getting judges approved. And then that comes to hit us here in Prairie County. And Thune isn't letting us reset this appointment right now. We're not getting it approved in the last 6 months, hardly at all. That's a real big deal, getting judges appointed. But I should say if confirmed.
Okay.
I would like to get your email before you leave so I can send you,
Give you my.
I know Senator Sheehy's really interested in getting the budget under control and he's supportive of Doge and bringing things back in line, And I'd really like to send you, a lot of the money that we're spending in this country the last few years, but for the Green New Deal. And, we have one developer that's coming in Eastern Montana, and they admitted last week that they do not need any wind subsidies. I'd like to send you that audio clip. And they've even asked for an abatement from Prairie County, and in their road haul proposal, they backtracked on that abatement, so they've pretty much come clean and said, we don't need any subsidies from the county or the feds. And Senator Sheehy, to knock on, Interior Secretary Burgum's door and let him know that, and the Treasury and the President, that we can hold the line and not have to, let these tax credits loose for multi-billion-dollar companies that don't even need it. They admit to it. So at some point, I'd like to get your email.
Yeah, sure. I'll go again. Right here.
Just to add what Shane Eaton said, we're responsible as farmers and ranchers that if we have a BLM allotment, that we're required to maintain the cooperative range improvements, no matter who paid for them. If we paid for them 100% on our own, we're still responsible. If it's within the allotment to take care of those cooperative range improvements, which means you have to have access and you gotta have good roads. And it shouldn't be tearing up vehicles and stuff just to try to go check livestock water to make sure it doesn't need to be fixed. Farm to market. And public access itself, it's a safety issue. Gravel.
You mind?
No, I jumped right in here.
So I'm Sheriff Lewis. I guess what I would like to do is put just a little perspective on how important this gravel and these roads are to our county. And I might be off on my numbers, just a couple miles, but we have just a touch over 630 miles of gravel roads in this county. So gravel is vital. And Mr. Eaton was talking about how these roads get tore up, and I think what we need to realize of why they get tore up, it's not because of the 1,000 people that live here. It's we are a major hunting and fishing tourist area, and we get vehicles from all over the United States up and down these roads from September through about December, and they tear these roads up horribly. And then it's on our road department to try to get these roads fixed, and without having access to that gravel, all we're doing is trying to tear up the old base and trying to relay it, and it doesn't work. And these roads have gotten fairly bad. And there is times that, when we've got to go out on a public safety call, whether it's the sheriff's office, the fire department, or the ambulance, all we're doing is tearing up equipment, trying to get there. And that's not good on the budgets either. So we can relate so much of this county and our budget back to a gravel pit. It's almost silly to think about, but when you have 600 plus miles of gravel road to worry about, we got to have our gravel.
Actually, I think that number's 720.
I think that's total roads in the county. Yeah. But that also puts it into perspective, 100 miles of pavement, 600 plus miles of gravel road. That's what we are. We're frontier America here. And we love it. We don't want to change it, but we do need to maintain it.
And to follow up on that, the season, I've lived where I live for 30 years, and believe it or not, I've seen all 50 states. They come into agate hunting down at Cherry Creek. I didn't get a car here from Hawaii. It just was dumbfounded to me that somebody would be here. But I've seen all 50 states there throughout all these years. It's that stretch of the road, and they're not just there. I've seen them throughout the county. And I'm glad to have them. I really are. But it's keeping our roads like they need to be. I want to follow up on something, and please indulge me. I wanted to quote this correctly. Politics is the art of looking for problems, finding them everywhere, diagnosing them incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedies. That was Roger Martin.
So how many test holes are we digging out of the sheet?
3.
These are test holes to see if it's a possible gravel pit, BLM ground, And there's gonna be 3 to 4 personnel on site for us to dig 3 holes on BLM ground. See if there's gravel there, approximately 6 feet deep, probably 8 feet long.
Yep.
And 2 feet wide, 18 inches wide. And they're gonna have everybody on site to watch us dig those 3 holes and cover them back up.
Make sure they put the dirt back in the same way they brought it out.
Yeah,
Originally, they want you to dig it by hand.
the tops, no, it's by backhoe, the topsoil and the
They've talked
subsoil
about it.
all correctly. Now, follow up on that, something very interesting happened when we
It's comical.
opened up Cherry Creek. That, because I was out there and we drilled, or we dug, I don't know, 12 different sites to make sure this was, had gravel, which it did. A lot of times gravel is right at the surface and there's no topsoil. But anyway, as we did this and we did the archaeology, we did everything as we're going, and there was probably 6 BLM people there and 2 of us from the county. And then what amazed me is we got a stack like this about what we need to do. So we followed this to the IT. I mean, we just did. We had it on site. And they had 4 people, archaeologist, soil specialist, a geologist, and there were 4 BLM people. And they were there for I think a week watching us do this. We did it exactly like this said, and they told us. Several months later, they come in for inspection and they didn't like it. County had already put $50,000 in this by time and material and the wattles, all the things we had to put into this. And then they came out and they didn't like it. They want to know if we'd push them up in big piles. Well, no, we can't. My response was, we followed the rules. This is your rule book. We can't change anything because you told us how to do it. Those are the things that get so frustrating.
They wrote us up in the same gravel pit saying we weren't doing things properly. So we requested as Prairie County, we got a hold of DEQ and asked for an audit. And DEQ come out and says we passed with flying colors.
And this was.
And DEQ has to follow EPA.
Cherry Creek gravel.
Cherry Creek Brown.
That's just one. There's 4 of them that we've been trying to get open.
And none of them are open right now.
No,
Just the one. And Monday, what's that?
The Cherry Creek pit.
Cherry Creek pit. That's the only one that's open. And on Monday, our permit guy, he used to be with the DEQ and he's independent now. But he's permitting these things. We're going with him, digging the test holes and that. But we're meeting here on Monday. We're gonna go out and dig test holes with BLM folks in tow. Just to get another permit. And on one side of the county road is state ground, which we're hoping there's gravel there. The other side is BLM. Well, no, that's not true. Because it is BLM and they're maybe it's their mineral. I don't know. You get lost in this something.
state lines. across
The
the
state line, states across the road and,
That's right.
this, our consultant that's helping us told us we might be better off just to pay for the gravel off the state that might be cheaper than messing with the BLM. It's supposed to be a free permit.
Well, tell her how long it took to get the Cherry Creek pit open.
2 years, over 2 years.
Been without
A
gravel
pit
for 2
that's been open since the 1940s.
So those are the, when we're rural out here in the country, just. And we all have full-time jobs. And then we deal with those things. It's just burdens that I don't think people should have to deal with. It can be easier than what we're doing. Are you about gravel pits?
And let's talk about the Antiquities Act a little bit. Wyoming has a protection on the Antiquities Act that any act by the President of the United States using the Antiquities Act has to be approved by Congress. And there's a resolution that I was a sponsor of, but it went through NACO unanimously to make that the requirement for every state in the union.
Nationwide.
Why should Wyoming have a special? So the Antiquities Act would have to be approved by Congress. And the public lands rule is still there. It's on the shelf. It never was killed. The old growth forest plan has been killed. It's dead, so we don't worry about that anymore. But the public lands rule is still there. To use conservation as the seventh use. Defined in FLIPMA. Would trump all other uses. And that's supported by NACO.
The conservation
No, opposing the rule.
goals.
And support of nuclear power to protect our public lands. It's another one that's on the books. It was a little controversial. We got it through.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, I think. I'm blanking on the name, the acronym is the Armor Act. But Senator Sheehy just introduced it with another senator, and it's something to do with development of nuclear energy. I can get you more details on it, but just kind of generally speaking about.
Well, the land footprint is like 350 times less than wind or solar. So what would take 1 square mile, it'd take 350 sections. Solar. It's pretty extreme.
They on recess now,
Yes,
so he's home.
I think so. I believe so. Unless it's Eastern Montana travel. They'll let me know. But yeah, I think he is.
Where's home for him? Bozeman?
Yes and no, because he's got Little Bell Cattle Co. Which is his ranch, which actually kind of a small world moment. He bought part of that from an old friend of ours that used to work for my dad. This is more information than you guys need to know, but that old friend was like, and this was before the senator was involved in politics or anything, and he's like, yeah, this former Navy SEAL, businessman, he bought my place, and he kept him on for advice and stuff a little bit for a while. Was like, he just seems to be a great guy, wants to raise his kids, on a ranch, and then a few years later, he got involved in politics, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, good guy, cool. So yeah, anyways, that was near Martinsdale.
Wasn't sure where he was from, or where he was headquartering out of.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with that side of the operations, so. Tell you where exactly it is.
Up north of Livingston.
Yeah.
What kind of news do you have? Good news from Washington or what you know so
Yeah,
far?
good news from Washington. I mean, no, I don't have a whole lot. The senator He's pretty well for streamlining the government where we can. Like you said earlier, things, Doge is doing a lot of good work. He's pretty active on the wildfire and military fronts, just with his background and everything. So, he's introduced quite a few wildfire, reform type bills. And then, some different military, bills like, right to repair for military equipment. So like, military members in the field, they don't have to go out and get diagnostics and everything. They can just repair their own equipment in the field. So stuff like that is kind of what he's
Kind
interested
of
in.
following up on a rancher's or farmer's right to repair.
Yeah, I don't, I think that's pretty well targeted towards military, vehicles and whatnot. Um, yeah, that's what he's focused on, is the military side.
There'll be a resolution coming to NACO in February that wants to take funds and like the co-op program that the state has with counties where they provide equipment. But maybe the feds could do the same thing to provide locals with equipment for first responders.
Like surplus equipment
Yeah,
or cost share? Okay, surplus.
Surplus. As a county, we've been very
DES
fortunate.
coordinator out of McKenzie County, North Dakota, which is Water City. They got a lot of federals. Anything else, guys?
What else you think, Keith?
Big bunch of nothing. I can tell you exactly a little bit, kind of what it is,
You
because I know that area so well,
you hunted it.
yeah, for years, yeah. But
Afternoon, everybody. Afternoon.
This is Todd Henry. This is our road supervisor.
Oh, yeah,
And you are with?
Senator Sheehy.
Oh, okay.
I think you left this in my office.
Oh, yeah, I was
You're
looking for
probably
that.
looking for that,
I was, I had to print out a new one.
Oh, got your notes.
One for each hand.
Okay.
And this is Dan Rice. He's our county attorney.
So one other thing that I can think of, and it might be something worth looking into, especially with Senator Sheehy's background of the military and stuff. So we can get a lot of surplus equipment through a program called the 1033 program. But it's almost like it's backwards. So the stuff that we could use in a small little community like this, we don't have any money that we could get through the 1033 program. We're always losing out to larger agencies because they seem to have a bigger need than us, but they also have a lot more money. So I think that it's inverse of what it should be, in my opinion. It might be something worth Senator Sheehy's time just to check into that 1033 program and see if we can't find a better way to maybe distribute some of that military equipment. And the one example I'll give you is, for a couple of years, we had Fish and Game actually gave us a jet boat to get up and down the river. We've got 30 some miles of the Yellowstone River that people are getting lost in it. They like to get their boats high centered on sandbars. We got to go out and rescue them. And for a while, we were using just whoever we could get a hold of that might have a boat, one of our local citizens that was willing to take their boat up and down the river for us. And then Fish and Game gave us one for a while. Then they took theirs back. So then I got on the 1033 program, and I've been trying to get us a boat for several years now. And every time one comes up, it goes to somebody else. We just cannot seem to get one. So that's just one example. Shipping containers is another one. We've been trying to get a couple shipping containers. They're always going to a bigger need than us.
Did that fall through?
Yes,
I didn't know what we wanted to hear.
I know. So anyway, I would appreciate if you'd bend this here a little bit on that one. Going from one bedroom to another. I appreciate it.
Are you looking at your tattoos?
Air Force, yeah. I used to fly in the C-130s and
Oh, wow.
dump all them frogs all over the world, so.
There you go.
Yeah, and and tell him I do appreciate him. He's a good man.
Do you have a card?
Yes, I do.
And maybe this gravel pit's kind of important and maybe we can thumb through some
Yeah.
things that.
One to each of you guys. There you go.
Thank you, Celia.
Shane,
I got them.
you got one?
Thank you so much.
And yeah. Want to share? Go ahead.
Benny's here.
So it is 2:30, just so you know.
You're headquartered out of Billings?
Yes, I am. Yep, out of Billings. There's a couple of us there. But yeah. That's that. Thank you, guys.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming by.
We appreciate you coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll be up here. I think before the year is out, I'll be up here again. So we'll see you again.
Sounds good. Thanks for
Right.
stopping in.
You bet. Have a good one.
Have a good
Thank
trip.
So we're gonna look at our Prairie County Rural Hall Agreement draft.
I made a couple changes. Constant errors. I got a new copy.
Just a minute, we'll go through. Oh, you got new copies for
I got
us?
new copies, yeah. I just made like 3 or 4 changes on. Just will send one down the air and see it.
Going for Dennis.
Yeah.
Thank you, Todd. I suppose I better get rid of my old one, but I don't.
So the road hall agreement we're gonna look at was the draft Keystone. with the
Well,
county.
This draft here was a lot of the Keystone stuff with Michael Bacon and at Dawson County and I got together. And put a lot more stuff into it after we got done talking to Jason
Jason's
Jason Strove,
from my customer.
because they had a lot of.
Yeah, they had a lot of issues and we're trying to get them all straightened out. So Michael and I went through this and,
That's the gentleman that was there this morning.
no, Michael's from Dawson County, and we met with him. Down here, and then Kerry Phillips, who's from Macomb County also helped put this together. With kind of our needs. I don't know how you want to go about, to read this.
Was that posted online by chance?
This one, I don't think this one has yet, because we haven't approved anything.
The other one had been though.
I mean, the one that you guys are actually going over, if someone like,
Yeah, it's on the website. Now with his updated changes since.
He just gave us an update, but the other one changed some verbiage, I guess.
Oh, okay, I guess
The
I
other
didn't know
one-
that was down there.
Yeah, this one is on the website. Under his commission.
So is that the one we gotta use?
No,
You can
we're
just-
dealing with a road haul
We're
agreement.
trying to fix stuff here, what we're trying to
Right.
believe, right?
What did you change?
There was something in here that said Dawson County, so I changed it to Prairie County. Cause we've been working on it together and. And then there were 2 things in there that actually said wind farm. And I changed it to X, that's what we're using is X as the company.
Okay,
No matter what company it is that comes in here, there were 2 mistakes that we've had in there.
so just basically you changed
Just-
typos.
Typos, yeah.
I'll read it as we go along, like we did the other one.
Got time?
2:35,
2 hours to the public.
about 2 hours.
This roll hall agreement is made and entered into this such and such a day of 2000 and such by between Prairie County, 421 Oakland Avenue, Terry, Montana, 59349, and hereinafter designated as the county, and X hereafter designated as X. Whereas X plans to, that's blank.
Yeah, that's for them to fill out when they wanna do this agreement.
And whereas X desires to use certain paved or unpaved county roads as defined below for the purpose related to the
Activity.
industrial complex or whatever you want to put in there. All hauling activities strictly limited to the following county roads. And then you list the roads on here, so this is basically pretty generic
Yeah.
at this point in time. Whereas the county is responsible for constructing, altering, improving, and maintaining county roads under the supervision and direction of the road supervisor. And whereas the county and X anticipate that the result of X's use of county roads, a significant increase in traffic will occur, resulting in accelerated deterioration of the road. And as a result, repairs and improvements and or additional maintenance may be required and additional maintenance expenses may be incurred. Whereas the county desires to grant to X its consent to utilize the county roads subject to the terms and conditions set forth herein, and whereas the recitals are intended to be a substantial part of this agreement. Now therefore be resolved in consideration of terms, conditions, and covenants contained herein, it is mutually agreed as follows. 1, purpose statement. The haul road route agreement shall govern X's responsibilities for use, maintenance, and repair of any haul road during and after the use of said roads by X used for the said roads for X's proposed project, and extend X hauling operations cause accelerated deterioration of or damage to county roads. This agreement shall apply to X, its employees, contractors, customers, and authorized designees thereof.
Could I make a comment on this?
Yep, this is the time to do it.
We talked about road haul during and after. I think we should,
Right.
it's on proposed statement A, it's in your for your first sentence.
What did you say?
On the maintenance and repair of any haul road during and after use of the roads by whoever. I think on a project this size, what we're talking about, I think that road should be built up prior to any construction. That needs to be brought up to a certain standard because of the impact that road's gonna see with the volume of traffic plus the weight of that traffic. So I'm just wondering if we oughta, it's saying that during and after, but I'm wondering if we should say pre.
Well, my thought is when they start, they're gonna have to have some pre-construction done, cause they're not gonna be doing it while
While we're driving.
they're driving. They're gonna have to do it before. I mean, that's just common sense. They're gonna have to get it done beforehand.
How about
Because they can't be constructing the road and doing their other business at the same time.
how about adding improvement? Responsibilities for improvement
Prior to,
prior to,
sure.
just before 4.
Responsibilities.
Prior to
Construction.
prior to X's start of X's project.
Development, yeah.
Definitions, anything else on that page? Definitions, A. Additional maintenance means grading, reshaping, repair, and modification performed on county roads, right-of-ways, bridges, culverts, auto gates in excess of the same operation performed as routine maintenance as defined below by the county. Any issues?
Can you say that last part that you just said it? As defined by the county?
That's it, referring to the.
I'll read it all again. Additional maintenance means grading, reshaping, repair, and or modification performed on county roads, right-of-ways, bridges, culverts, and auto gates in excess of the same operations performed as routine maintenance by the county. Applicable warranty period. Applicable warranty period means with respect to any repairs, modifications, additional maintenance and improvements and or additional maintenance performed by X and its subcontractors hereunder, time period that begins on the date of said repairs, modifications, etc. to haul roads are complete and ending on that date, that is 1 year after such completion date.
Where they anticipate 2 years of construction, should that be 2 years?
When you're after completion.
1 year after project completion, so 3 years.
3, okay.
Is that enough?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's gonna show up.
Yeah.
And at some point, we'll have to address,
The decommissioning timeframe,
well, the longevity and more, as these things fail and need replacement, that's gonna have to be addressed somehow in this document.
Now we're talking about the county road bond here, right? The next one,
That's just the definition of bond. That's the definitions of what the.
bond. Bond means a performance bond is in a form reasonably satisfactory to the county and or state obtained by X to guarantee the performance of its contractual obligations to the county.
Well, we talked about the bond later on. This is just definition.
That's just definition.
well,
County.
bond is not a definition of bond. You need to delete bond and put a definition in.
No,
No,
it doubles up on everyone.
Yeah.
County roads. County roads means public street, public road, or other public way, including shoulders and right-of-ways designated for the purpose of vehicular traffic and under the jurisdiction of the county to include the county right-of-way of the county road, and easements.
Want to make a separate definition for easements, or you want to include that in the county road?
Keep it with county roads. Cause we don't have very many right-of-ways, we have easements.
Did you guys change some on when I walked out of the room?
Yeah, we added and easements on B, county roads.
Thank you.
Anything else on county roads? All roads. All roads means any county road, bridge, or other structure identified in the Hall Road map, route map. Attached to Exhibit A, which is anticipated to be used by X for transporting project items, including but not limited to products, equipment, materials, and or supplies.
The attachments in here.
Something that maybe we could add it as employees also,
Add what?
employees. Transporting, under your transport products, equipment, materials, supplies. Could you bust those as employees or something like that too?
We adding it?
Yep.
We're putting in employees.
And employees.
All route or access route. All route or access route means a system of approved all roads between a source site and the destination and or the source site and the nearest major intersection as determined by the county. Explain that one to me.
Well, it would be, any road that they're designating as their haul routes. That we've approved. Yes, basically. That we approve that they're gonna use.
They can't use one road, they
Right, if they don't designate it, they don't
don't use it.
use it.
And that's a place to where
And who's
Jason,
gonna-
Jason Stroh comes into this
Yeah.
about, there has to be more than one route,
Yeah.
because people are gonna use more than one route. And so determined by the county, so if they say, well, we're just gonna have one road, not necessarily true from the county standpoint, because history teaches us folks are gonna use other roads.
Nice if
So
could
we would
work it
determine
out.
that.
Be less congestion that way.
Improvements.
Say something back,
We're really wanting to get through this, and then public comment's gonna be at 4:30.
okay, well, earlier.
Improvements. Improvements mean county road improvements undertaken by X or the county, including but not limited to the widening and or modification of roadway approaches, right of ways, installing new culverts or replacing current culverts, installing auto gates, or replacing, resetting, or repairing auto gates to accommodate X's vehicles and equipment and required by the county to accommodate X's anticipated use of county roads as haul roads. Good.
Good.
Materials. Materials mean anything that can be used to build, repair, maintain, alter, or modify county roads and county right-of-ways and easements. Add. Material includes but not limited to any of all types of aggregate, culverts, cattle guards, AKA auto gates. Is everybody all right with adding
Do we need
easements?
to add fences to that?
Fences really ain't nothing to do with county roads, that's landowner.
With an easement, we don't have the right.
If you go, the fences are even outside of our easements, so,
You're on the edge of it.
well, we only get 30 foot, and a lot of the fences are out
30 foot from center.
from center.
Yeah.
And that don't even get you to the fence, so I would say the fences would be more landowner stuff.
Routine maintenance. Routine maintenance means grading, reshaping, repair, or modification of county roads, in its right of ways and cleaning, replacing and servicing auto gates, culverts, and bridges, which would occur to be absence of the use of a road as a haul route. Schedule of routine maintenance is determined by the county's operator assigned to the road and or by the Prairie County Road Department supervisor.
Okay,
Good?
Yeah.
Written notice. Written notice means a letter, statement, notice, or memo sent by mail and received via the United States Postal Service containing a letterhead, printed name, and signature of an authorized designee who has authority to compose, sign, and mail the written notice.
okay,
Agreements as the road haul use. Part 3. X understands and agrees that although the road haul roads covered by this agreement are county roads and are subject to normal traffic use, X by virtue of the use of the county roads as a haul route assumes responsibility for all damages to and additional maintenance required on such county roads, right of ways, easements.
That's gonna happen in here quite a bit. Better put it in.
what we're doing,
Yep.
what we're doing.
Well, I don't know.
Easements, bridges, culverts, and auto gates that are authorized to be used by X's, its employees, its contractors, customers, or authorized designees use of the county roads as haul roads as determined by the county. The county hereby agrees to X's use of the above said haul roads identified in the haul road map attached as Exhibit A to this agreement and covered by this agreement, subject to conditions stated herein. The haul route map, Exhibit A, shall be created by the county. X, its employees, customers, contractors, and other designees, or anyone associated with X shall not deviate whatsoever from the approved roads as shown in Exhibit A. X shall bear all responsibility and costs or fines from any deviation from the roads as shown in Exhibit A by X, its employees, customers, contractors, or designees. X understands and agrees that the county reserves the right to temporarily or permanently revoke X's privilege of use of county roads as haul roads should any deviation from Exhibit A take place by X, its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees. That's pretty firm.
Yeah,
Pretty straightforward.
X shall be responsible to obtain any or all required permits, licenses, which any county, state, or federal agency may require to operate or move its vehicles on county roads or to perform work in Prairie County. Proof of required permits shall be given to the county. County X agrees it shall not perform any type of work or use any of the haul roads until the required permits and licenses are obtained.
Straightforward there too.
Yeah.
Nothing in this agreement relieves X, its employees, customers, and contractors, or other designees from complying with all requirements specified by law, including speed limit, weight restrictions, other restrictions as determined by any county, state, or federal agency. X, its employees, customers, and contractors, or other designees associated with X shall comply with all state and federal motor carrier services, as well as all state and federal laws, regulations, and administrative rules. Any and all vehicles and equipment that do not meet statutory lengths, heights, or weights must obtain a special permit from MCS at their own expense prior to the use of county roads. Proof of all permits shall be given to the county.
What is MCS?
Motor carrier service, it's there.
Oh, okay.
Any improvements and or additional maintenance of the all roads necessitated by X operations and agreed upon by both parties shall be considered incidental to the hauling performed and shall be made at X's sole expense. Problem, any issues there? If either party to this agreement determines it is reasonable discretion that an improvements and or additional maintenance to a road haul is necessitated due to X's operations, it shall notify the other in writing. Any such improvements and or additional maintenance shall be authorized by the county permit in accordance with the county's standard permitting procedures, if any.
Where we don't have a permitting process, do we need to put in accordance with the county's road supervisors?
Well, that's something we gotta get worked on the policy too. We gotta get that updated.
Dan?
You don't have a permit, you don't have a permit. It says that the county can notify them of improvements that are required, and obviously we give them that permission by demanding that they do it. But that lack of a permit's irrelevant there.
Okay.
Any required improvements, modifications, and or additional maintenance shall be constructed in accordance with the written specifications of the county, which specifications shall be provided to X at least 15 days prior to the scheduled commencement of construction to such improvements, modifications, and or additional maintenance. X agrees to strictly adhere to and not in any way deviate away from the specifications it receives from the county. Somebody else read for a while.
I, any and all materials used by X to repair, rebuild, improve, or modify any county road shall meet the following stipulations and plasticity and gradation requirements. J, material sizes, diameters, lengths, types, depths, etc. to include, but not limited to culverts, cattle guards, aggregates shall be determined by the county road supervisor. A, aggregate shall be tested by a certified engineering firm to the plasticity and gradation in accordance with the table below in Exhibit C. At no more than every 25 truckloads, regardless of the intermission between projects, roads, and truckloads. Reports of each test shall be given to the county immediately following each test.
So question, Dan, that would be, we would designate Great West or something on this?
I think,
Yeah, let me read it again. Doesn't say that we designate, it says by a certified engineering firm, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's up to the county,
yeah,
I mean, they're
let's do that.
certified, they're certified.
Yeah, but some people can get bought off,
So what would you add?
Acceptable to the county.
acceptable to the county.
That's under K, is that right?
And who
Yeah.
pays for it?
They do.
They do.
It, I think in the next.
Okay, the
L, it
next one.
says, yeah.
Acceptable to county.
So what did that say again? A little louder.
The last one?
What did we add?
Acceptable to the county.
Acceptable to the county,
And then
the engineering, company. For L, X shall bear any and all costs associated with ensuring and testing of the aggregate used on county road. My question. M, X understands and agrees that only aggregate that conforms to the specific plasticity and gradation requirements as set forth by the county shall be used on any portions of the haul road unless requested in writing from X to the county and approved. And X is employees, customers, contractors, or other designees may travel only on designated approved haul roads as described on page 1 and on the attached exhibit A, and shall be conducted in a manner so by as to prevent damage to existing infrastructure, to include auto gates, bridges, and culverts. O, all weight limits and a strict speed limit of no greater than 35 miles per hour shall be followed by any and all types of vehicles, equipment, and any drivers associated with X's use of the haul road. When approaching any oncoming vehicles or when approached from behind, any and all drivers of any and all form of vehicles, equipment associated with X's use of the haul road shall slow down to 20 miles per hour or less and or pull over and completely stop when meeting any oncoming vehicle of any type and or for any vehicle of any type approached from behind. X understands that should any driver of any vehicle associated with X deviate from this section, the county reserves the right to ban the driver and the vehicle associated with X from the use of county roads in association with performing work related to X.
Kiefer? On that one?
Sorry, I'm not paying attention to you at all. Go ahead.
I know reason.
35 mile an hour speed limit, 20 mile an hour when passing or having another vehicle behind you.
Yes. Very acceptable,
Enforceable.
as long as we sign it.
It's contractually enforceable, it's not
I don't think we can do anything.
tickets.
Yeah, we can't, but we can certainly patrol it. Have lots of talks with people. But I think,
Sometimes that's enough.
I think that's exactly what we need to do on a lot of developments, is actually establish that. Because we'd actually have to do road studies and everything else to get the speed limits changed, which is, but we can,
Presence probably be a
that's the
big
biggest,
deal.
the biggest factor is presence. Yeah.
P, X agrees to and will ensure that any and all tractor trailers with tag axles shall lower and utilize the tag axles at all times while using any portion of the haul road. X shall complete exhibit B.
Would that be when they're empty too?
That's
what it said.
Kind of said that.
Yeah. They're on the haul road, they better have their tags down.
Guess the guy could change that, but
Shouldn't we change that to loaded truck? 'Cause that's hard to, we have tags and that's tough.
yeah.
You're gonna have nothing but washboards if you're gonna take down empty. Just straight road.
I think you're gonna have more work in.
Well, it's gonna make it work.
On this stuff, but yeah, it might make.
Can't take
So
all.
loaded,
Loaded.
Any and all tractor trailer, loaded tractor trailers, right? Okay. Q, if such infrastructure is damaged by X, its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees while using any portion of the haul road, X shall immediately stop all of its travel on all portions of the haul route. Immediately inform the county and immediately make temporary repairs to minimize further damage and assure continued public access and safe passage. X then shall, at their own expense, make permanent repairs at the first available opportunity to a reasonable, satisfactory condition in consultation with the county.
I don't know why we say such infrastructure. I think you should just say any infrastructure unless we're referring to something previously identified.
If an infrastructure is damaged,
If any infrastructure is damaged.
okay,
so scratch or such.
scratch such and add any. Is that the only place?
Yep.
R, if during X's, its employees, customers, contractors, and other designees use of a haul road, the county reserves the right to, at any time, reasonably determine that additional improvements and or additional maintenance is necessary that is outside of the county's scheduled maintenance routine. Notice shall be given to X of required improvements and or additional maintenance. Use of the haul road may continue pending installation or completion of any improvements and or additional maintenance, provided such continued use will not jeopardize the public safety or the integrity of the haul road. Any and all improvements and or additional maintenance is that's supposed to be is,
Yeah, that's what we did.
maintenance is performed by X or any of its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees shall be at the sole expense of X and shall include and strictly adhere to the following road specifications. S, the entire length of the haul road must maintain at all times a strict 3 to 4% crown, excluding supers
Short corners.
on curves and corners. D, the entire length of the haul road must maintain at all times a maximum width of no wider than 26 feet and a minimum width of no less than 24 feet.
Okay, on that one. Who's gonna police that?
I guess it'd be the road supervisor going out and looking, I mean, I look at enough roads, I know close how wide they are. And they're gonna, I mean, on corners and stuff, they're gonna have to probably widen them out a little bit. But as long as when they're done, they narrow them back up. I understand that they're gonna need some places where.
Gonna be wider.
But this is the main drift of things. It's trying to keep everything uniform as best we can.
How about adding something there with,
I don't think you wanna give them any rope.
Okay,
I mean, it's gonna be kind of the discretion of the road supervisor, whether it's me or somebody else down the road, but, I mean, that's the guidelines that should be followed. There will be some places that I can accept that,
gotta be wider than
that
that.
it's gotta be a little bit wider than that.
So you wanna
For
add
time.
something about subject to,
I
or unless otherwise approved, or
don't think we need to give them any rope, just,
you just wanna say
Yeah.
it's strictly 24 to 26? If you're
Yeah.
gonna accept something otherwise, it
Well-
needs to be in here. Otherwise, if you
I
say
guess
you
we
want
can.
it wider or narrower, they're gonna say, it's not what the contract says.
oh, I'm not gonna want it.
Not gonna want it wider or narrower?
No, I won't. They might need it that way, but hopefully it's a temporary, you know,
or at the discretion of the county road
okay, we can
supervisor.
put that in there, yeah.
Unless approved by,
Unless approved by county. I think you just put county, don't
By
you?
county, it'd be fine. Doesn't matter who the guy's gonna be in charge of looking at this stuff. By the time it's all said and done, we might have to hire somebody to just go out and patrol.
Dennis, you wanna read for a while?
Aggregate shall never be pushed to the side of the haul road or into the ditch at any time whatsoever. Berm of any size and any material shall not be left anywhere on the haul road, the shoulders, or anywhere in the right of way by X or its designated used to maintain the haul road.
Right of way or easements?
Yep.
The road supervisor may periodically measure and inspect the haul road. If the road supervisor determines the haul road does not adhere to these standards listed in this agreement due to X's use of the haul roads, X shall be notified by the road supervisor by phone call, email. And once notified, X shall immediately improve, correct the haul road to the standards listed in this section. If any aggregate is pushed off into the ditch or right of way and cannot be retrieved due to X's use of improvement and or additional maintenance of the haul road, X, once notified by the road supervisor by phone or by email, shall immediately replace the aggregate at its own expense to the amount and specifications that as determined by and to the satisfaction of the road supervisor.
How about adding in person,
Adding what?
in person,
Where?
In person.
phone call or email or in
Well, we
person?
gotta have something documented, so.
Okay,
Yeah,
We should just eliminate the phone call, but
why are we specifying, just say upon notification? I would get rid of by phone call or email entirely and just say.
Yeah, by
notified
notification.
Yep,
okay.
cross out by phone call or email.
Yes. General notice provision requires mail, but
Postal.
for written notice, but here, any notification should work.
Okay,
okay. W, if the excuse me, W, if the county has to perform any work to correct a haul road to the standard listed in this section, it shall bill X the current FEMA equipment rate for equipment use, fuel for equipment, and current costs of any material used and hour wages for county employees to determine under the Bacon Davis Prevailing Wage Act X agrees to reimburse the county in full without question for any work performed, wages, fuel, equipment, and material used on such required improvements, modifications, and or additional maintenance to the haul road.
Without question.
Without question.
There'll be a lot of pushback.
I don't
on
know.
that
I don't know if we,
I don't know if we can wing that one, but we'll leave it in.
one. I'm gonna get pushback on that one.
Maybe.
They might strike it, but the heck.
we'll see.
Give them one one paragraph to cross out.
X, prior to and during the use of any part of the haul road agreement that is unpaved, X at its sole expense shall apply and maintain a dust repellent to such roads no less than a quarter mile before and no less than a quarter mile after all residents' corrals, stockyards, barns, Quonsons, wells, hayfields, stock tanks, road intersections, and other areas identified by the county. The dust repellent to be used shall be mag chloride. The application of the dust repellent must be applied to product specifications, including proper road preparations before product is applied. The dust repellent must be applied prior to the use of haul roads and applied as needed or when determined by the county. Water may be used on some areas of the haul road only with written request from X and with written approval by in permission from the county. You know, when we talk about a quarter mile, when I think about what they did up on the Fallon Flats, they just did the whole thing,
That's what they're gonna do here.
just to do the whole thing.
Well, you're never gonna,
Well,
you might as well just leave it on because
Who did the whole thing?
what are you talking about? Keystone when they did
When
the,
Keystone did the haul route.
but you got residents every so often out there.
On Little
You're
Fat?
5, 6
I think you
miles.
ought to put livestock in there too.
Well, it is with tanks and.
Lonnie gets testimony in his calves when he puts them beside the county road. I think you have to put livestock.
Well, you put
Well,
livestock
they
down.
move, though. Yeah. The livestock are not fixed, so you can't, a quarter mile from livestock from one day to the next. is fixed.
So you just leave it on.
I think maybe you might want to expand it to anywhere that's got grazing. Any.
Well, it's got like stock tanks, with stock tanks and stuff like that where they gather. I could see that. Just out in the pasture when there's no reason for them to gather around.
Is there a reason we don't want them doing dust control on the whole entire route?
No.
That'd be nice.
I think we should. I think that's just proven it makes sense, because you don't have a flume here, and then it's clear, and then another flume. It's just consistent through the whole project.
Okay.
Maybe just
Delete the whole paragraph except for the first
after
sentence.
add dust palliative to such roads and then strike no less than a quarter before, after, so on and so forth, identified by the county. Maintain a dust palliative to such roads identified by the county,
The dust palliative to be used shall be mag chloride.
unless otherwise designated by county. I would add that after mag chloride. And that's what we're saying they have to use now, but in 10 years, we might say you have to use something better, safer, cleaner, more expensive, whatever we say. So I'd add that.
Harry, what do you got?
What do we add?
Mag chloride, unless otherwise.
Unless-
directed
Can you
by
read
county.
that back now when it's edited?
I didn't mark, it says strike large amount of it replaced with just. However, designated by the county unless otherwise designated by the county for mag chloride.
I work?
I just added the words unless otherwise designated by county after the word mag chloride.
Okay,
Repeat,
Shall be mag chloride, comma, unless otherwise designated by county.
And then the rest is struck?
No, the
No, I
rest-
think that's all good. All that I suggested striking was in the, starting at the second half of the second line of that paragraph, no less than a quarter mile before, after all residences, a list of stuff. And then the sentence would just read, two such roads, and then the last part of the sentence, identified by the county.
Okay,
And I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
We ready? Y. X agrees that X, its employees, customers, contractors, and other designates shall not travel on the Hall Road at all by any vehicle whatsoever when the Hall Road is damp or wet in any way, in any amount. I don't think we can get away with that.
Well,
Even if it starts raining, you just have to stay there and not move until.
I know, that was something
You
Michael
can't take
put
any
in there.
vehicle out there. I thought that was a lot more.
Yeah, I kind of did too, but I thought I'd let it
Be out
go.
there for a week in your car.
We strike that. X agrees that the haul route shall only be traveled, or all route shall be traveled when the haul road is complete, dry, or frozen. I don't think we can do that.
So you
That-
remove
I
it.
think you want to replace that with something that says that if the road supervisor advises that due to whatever, unusually wet conditions, the travel will damage the road, it can be shut down for a reasonable period of time, something like that.
X
But-
agrees to not use the Hall Road when during storms or something like that.
You're gonna have to put a lot more thought into it than what's gonna happen around this table right now. So I think you probably just want to say that that paragraph needs reworked. Right
rework.
now, it says if it starts raining, you park and you don't move again until it's dry.
Yeah, because if we're causing ruts or trucks coming off the road, there is a point where that may be practical, but not damn.
Yeah.
Just like deteriorating conditions.
And there's something that says that the county road supervisor
my
can shut down
one.
travel due to conditions that will cause damage to the road.
That Y needs completely reworked, so we'll just move on.
Okay.
Z, X shall strictly conform to the manual uniform of traffic control devices as well as the Montana guidelines for temporary traffic control equipment entering or trucks hauling. Sign shall be placed at X's expense at the following locations as set forth by the county. Anything there? AA, X understands and signs shall conform to the manual uniform or traffic control device and shall ensure that signs are always in place, visible and in good conditions to ensure that the traveling public is made aware of their presence. You do, on something like that, you do it at the beginning of the road when they pull off, and then you have more signs throughout to remind people. I don't know. Asking a question.
About sign placement, it's all in that book.
Yeah, on how they should do it.
It's in the manual.
All right. BB, X understands and agrees the county will only maintain the haul roads in accordance to its routine maintenance schedule and shall not accept or fill in any demands that press on the county to maintain the haul roads outside the county's routine maintenance schedule. X understands, as we talk about that, I'm just, when I think about this, during that construction period, there's gonna be so much traffic. I think they need to hire a company like Prince that just maintains the road. That's.
Well, I think that's what they do. That's what they did. in
Oh, they do?
County, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough said. X understands that any and all minor maintenance to include but not limited to the blading and washboarding and or ruts that may be needed on the haul road between or outside the county's routine maintenance schedule shall all be done by X at its expense and with the standards of the county, including but not limited to the requirements as stated in section 5 of this agreement. X understands that the agreement that any blading and washboarding or any ruts and smoothing of the haul road shall be done only with the motor grader and not any other type of equipment.
Justify that statement.
Did I at the end?
Yeah,
with no other equipment, because you can take a payload and try to blade a road with a payload.
oh, okay,
Or something, you know, road good are the best piece of equipment to try. to-
because they're plain.
Because, yeah, they're more of a plane and, you know, you don't need to go out there with an excavator trying to fix a road. You're just gonna wreck it.
Breaker,
Or get it, yeah, just blade.
Well, it does.
the best.
feel your gravel.
CC, X shall at its own expense control all noxious weeds along the Hall Road in accordance with the Montana Noxious Weed Control Act. All chemicals shall be applied by a licensed or certified individual in according with the MNCWCA and according to the manufacturer's recommendations. X understands and agrees that there shall be no overspray at all onto any landowner's crops or fields. All cattle and bridges shall be sprayed,
Oh, cattle guard.
cattle guards shall be sprayed. Spraying shall not occur when the wind is more than 10 miles an hour. That,
Do we need a kind of a written plan from X on how they're gonna spray it? And with what?
In accordance with the state act, seems.
Yeah.
Yep, relatively, concrete.
Okay,
and in that Weed Control Act, you know, they give you guidelines. I'm just hoping we're not going too far by saying no overspray at all onto the landowner's property. I just don't know that we can, because conditions change so much. You might have drift, and it could be a still day and a wind, air inversion brings it over and puts it there. And to me, that's gonna be a thing, that's a fine line. When you say no overspray, period, and versus there's damage and then the contractor's gonna have to address it if there is damage.
Reimburse.
Yeah,
Tractors are bonded, any commercial sprayer is bonded
yeah, I think,
for that reason.
yeah,
I mean, I'm bonded.
I don't know if we need to change verbiage in that or what you wanna do. ED, X understands that all cattle guards must conform to the county road policy. Should a cattle guard need to be bigger than 24 foot, X shall request in writing that an aerial map of a location in the cattle guard asking for approval from the county to widen the cattle guard. X understands that should the cattle guard extend beyond the county's right of way
or easement.
or easement,
Probably wish I put that in.
it shall obtain written approval from any landowner whose land the cattle guard will be affected. Any and all fences that need to be moved or reattached shall be the responsibility of X and to the satisfaction of the landowner and or the county. Yeah, because you're 30 foot, so if you put another 12 foot in, you're trying to get in, you're out of your right of way.
Yeah.
Or close.
Stand close if you're on.
FF, X understands that each individual
You
encroachment,
skipped one.
Skip them.
no, I'm sorry. EE.
Yep.
X shall submit to Prairie County encroachment permit for any and all forms of encroachments into the county roads. To include but not limited to cattle guards, culverts, buried cable markers, transmission lines, and any and all approaches that belong to service roads. Anything there? FF, X understands that each individual encroachment must have its own encroachment permit, that there shall be no blanket encroachment permits, and that each encroachment will require a fee to be paid in full within 30 days of receipt of invoice. X understands that encroachment permit fees are not considered part of the impact fee. Everybody okay there? GG. X shall mark every buried transmission line cable with a marker. Each sign shall be maintained in perpetuity by X. The county shall not be responsible for any replacement or maintenance of buried transmission lines.
Perpetuity?
Well, it ain't no different than Mid-Rivers having to maintain all their little signs and,
Okay.
you know.
Oh,
Even
you,
Basin Pipeline, they got their signs up all over.
okay.
They gotta maintain them, we don't maintain them.
We'll let them raise out if they want to.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
On the end of that, does it need to say,
What?
on the end of that paragraph, does it need to say line, it just for the transmission?
Buried transmission.
Transmission line, sure.
Line/cable.
HH, X shall post on every non-approved county road that intersects with approved haul roads with a sign no smaller than 24" by 18 that says no X traffic of any kind or vehicle allowed beyond this point. Can we do that?
Custer County did. That's some signs we've seen.
But these are all public roads. Can we do that?
Yeah,
Just
but
ask.
Need to a route, to go on
Okay,
routes other than what they've agreed to.
I talked to Ward the other day, he said it worked pretty good.
okay. The type of post to be used for each sign shall be determined by the road supervisor. X understands that it is sole responsibility for the cost of the signs, post, placement and maintenance of all signs. Any and all signs of any kind that X is required to place shall be in accordance with the manual for unified traffic control device.
My turn.
Your turn.
Pre-use assessment, part 4. Within 10 days following the effective date of this agreement, X and the county shall conduct a joint pre-use assessment of the haul roads and together drive through the approved haul route to observe, photograph, and video the condition of the haul roads and the right-of-ways to include auto gates, bridges, culverts, and determine their suitability as potential haul roads. The pre-use condition assessment shall include
Harry.
B, video and photographing and notes of the existing haul roads to document pre-use conditions. C, document weight restrictions and speed limits to be determined and supplied by the county. X understands that weight restrictions may vary throughout the use of this agreement. D, inspect all culverts, bridges, and auto gates along the haul road by video and photograph and notes. You good so far?
Yeah, I'm just, as we're videoing and picture taking, well, that's gonna take a tremendous amount of time. Because we're talking a long.
Yeah.
And especially we have more than one haul route.
Yeah.
I'm just showing that out there.
Well, there's, I think approximately right now, on according to the map, there's about 61 miles of road. It's gonna take a while to cover it.
Okay,
E, should X fail to perform the pre-use assessment of the haul road or to include the county in a pre-use assessment of the haul road, the county shall perform its own pre-use assessment of the haul road, and the county's assessment shall be the only one used when compared to the post-use assessment as explained in section 5C, which is later on in the document.
Yeah.
Okay, who's gonna pay for this? the road supervisor and whoever else, and video and photographing.
You're already paying them, it doesn't cost more. And if they're gonna be doing all the road improvements at their cost, we're coming out, you want to look at dollars.
We're coming out in.
X to X, okay.
F, within 15 days after the completion of the pre-use assessment, the county will. G, advise X in writing whether X's desired use of a county road will be permitted or denied as a haul road, and if permitted, advise X in writing of any improvements, modifications, or additional maintenance that will be required for X to utilize a county road as a haul road. X agrees that it shall not use any county road or haul road in any manner until it has received county's written permission and until all improvements and or additional maintenance required by the county have been fully completed to the county's reasonable satisfaction. I don't think we have to put reasonable, we can just put satisfaction, right?
Yep. Right.
Anything else? I, X shall complete to the satisfaction of the county any or all required improvements, modifications, or additional maintenances within no less than 10 days of X use of the haul route. J, copies of all videos, photographs, pictures, drawings, assessments, reports, recommendations, notes, and other documents reflecting findings of the pre-use assessment that X has shall be immediately provided to the county at no cost to the county. If requested in writing by X, copies of all videos, photographs, pictures, drawings, assessment reports, recommendations, notes, and other documents reflecting the findings of the pre-use assessment that the county may have shall be provided to X at no cost to X. Five, post-use assessment. A, once X has ceased using the haul roads for the purposes stated on page 1, X shall notify the county in writing that it has ceased operations. B, within 10 days, X providing written notification to the county that the operations have ceased, X and the county shall conduct a joint post-use assessment of the haul roads and together drive through to observe, photograph, video the condition of the haul roads and right-of-ways, easements and right-of-ways. To include auto gates, bridges, culverts, and determine what, if any, maintenance are required to restore the haul roads to the pre-use condition. Subject to normal wear and tear that would occur in the absence of X use of the county roads as haul roads. Should X fail to perform the post-use assessment, the haul route is, or to include the county in the post-use assessment of the haul route, the county shall perform its own post-use assessment of the haul road route, and the county's post-use assessment shall be the only one used when compared to the pre-use assessment as explained in section 5A. C, copies of all videos, photographs, pictures, drawings, assessments, reports, recommendations, notes, and other documents reflecting the findings of the pre-use assessment that X has shall be immediately provided to the county at no cost to the county. If requested in writing by X, copies of all videos, photographs, pictures, drawings, assessments, reports, recommendations, notes, and other documents reflecting the findings of the pre-use assessment that the county may have or shall be provided to X at no cost to X. D, the scope and process of the post-use assessment shall be substantially the same as the process of determining the pre-use condition of the haul roads during the pre-use assessment described above in paragraph 5A above.
Cross out the last as well. Be done.
Okay, cross last one out. E, damage to any haul roads, right of ways, auto gates, bridges, and culverts, and additional maintenance required, if any, will be determined in a joint meeting with X and the county by comparing the pre-use assessment to the condition following X's. Isn't there X's of the haul roads is documented by the post-use assessment, taking into account the normal wear and tear that would occur in the absence of X's use of the county roads as haul roads. Does that make sense? We good?
And easements.
Which one you guys on?
E,
On D?
E. Anywhere it says right away, you gotta add E.
It's not as important as you guys think. When they're talking right away, they're talking about the width of the road that's wider than the actual surface of the road.
Right. That's,
The adding easements everywhere really doesn't matter.
That's-
Just gonna throw that out there.
why it's really not in there, yeah.
Within 10 days after the joint meeting of the post-use assessment, the county shall notify X in writing of any additional maintenance the county reasonably determines is the obligation of X. X agrees that it will perform the additional maintenance required by X by the county and shall restore the haul roads, right of ways, auto gates, bridges, and culverts to at least as good a condition, if not better than, as existed prior to X use of the haul roads. Should the county desire any improvements, modifications, or additional maintenance to remain, if any, it will inform X in writing the locations that it wants to remain. X agrees to leave those specific improvements and modifications as is that the county identifies. H,
form and right, yeah.
if the parties disagree in good faith on additional maintenance to be performed, X will notify the county of its objection within 10 days of the receipt of the county's notice of additional maintenance. If the parties cannot agree to additional maintenance to be performed, parties together shall choose a third-party certified engineering firm. The engineering arbitrator licensed by the state of Montana to review the pre-use and post-use assessments to determine what additional maintenance is required. If the parties cannot agree to a selection of the engineering arbitrator, each party shall select its own third-party certified engineering firm licensed by the state of Montana, and those two firms shall work together to select the engineering arbitrator. The parties shall equally share all costs incurred in connection with the dispute resolution procedure described in this subsection. Hmm?
We don't want them to push us into a bunch of arbitration that we have to pay half the cost of, but
You want to revisit it?
maybe is, but a question mark by it. I think
Okay,
Just typing up revisions. You want me to just make a first pass and then send it to Harry to make sure that anything that I didn't catch, he adds?
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Just,
Send it to me
I'm
too.
gonna say to you and Dennis and Harry maybe.
Okay, not good.
parties here to agree to abide by the final determination of the engineering arbitration. Assumption of risk and
Want somebody else?
liability.
Okay, wanna keep going or?
No, go ahead.
6, assumption of risk and liability. A, the county has not made and does not herein make any representation as to the present or future condition of the county roads, bridges, culverts, or auto gates. And X assumes all risks of damages to property of or injury to X, its employees, customers, contractors, county employees, the traveling public, local landowners, or other designees pursuant to this agreement, to include any entity or individual performing any type of work for X directly or indirectly, or if applicable, when mining and removing and hauling aggregate from such and such.
So they list the bid numbers.
Yeah, I'll do it. Bid number.
B, X will not be responsible or liable for any accident, injury, tort, or other theory of liability to any third party by virtue of this agreement, except insofar as a claim shall be based upon an act of willful misconduct, negligence, or omission of X, its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees. C, X agrees in covenants to identify, defend, and hold the county harmless from and against any and all loss, damage, costs, charges, liability, claims, demands, or judgments, collectively the claims, whether to persons or property, directly arising as a result of X's or its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees acting under X's authority, exercising of its rights under this agreement, except to the extent that such claims result from the apparent and proven negligence, recklessness, or willful misconduct of the county or anyone acting in the county's behalf. X understands that the county's decision on when to perform routine maintenance and how often shall not be considered a form of negligence, recklessness, or willful misconduct. Wow. D, in case any claim shall be brought against the county directly as a result of X or its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees acting under X's authority, exercise of its right under this agreement, X agrees and covenants to pay all costs, charges, reasonable attorney fees, and other expenses, and any and all judgments that may be incurred or obtained against the county, including all such costs incurred by the county to enforce this provision, except to the extent that such claims result from the apparent and proven negligence, recklessness, or willful misconduct of the county or anyone acting in the county's behalf. E, X shall maintain public liability and property damage insurance in the amount of $5 million per occurrence and $5 million aggregate, and shall name Prairie County, Montana, and specifically the Prairie County Road Department as an additional insured. X shall provide proof of said coverage to the county before any form of transportation or hauling will be allowed on any county road, and approval in writing from the county is received by X to begin use of county roads. Proof of said coverage shall be supplied annually to the county until this agreement is terminated. Failure to provide proof of said coverage annually will result in the county stopping X's, its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees' use of any and all county roads until above said proof is received by the county.
Aggregate and occurrence are the same.
And they're calling for it to be just 5 million to 5 million. Not too worried about it for us. The torque cap for the county is 750 over 1.5, so it's well covers the maximum liability that we can be based on. But usually the occurrence is double, right? Usually,
Yeah.
and usually the aggregate is double the occurrence amount,
Yeah,
most common.
We leave it like it is or we change it?
leave it,
And
we're covered.
F, no third-party beneficiary may claim or assert any benefit or right either directly or indirectly by or through this agreement. G, the county hereby acknowledges that this agreement does not alter or in any way otherwise shift responsibility from the county to X for performing routine maintenance on and ensuring the safety of county roads. Unit 7, bond. A bond, standby letter of a credit or other form of security acceptable to the county will be required in an amount to be determined subsequent to designation of the haul road. The bond posting dates must be for a period starting no later than the date of commencement of X's use of county roads and ending upon confirmed termination of this agreement by the county. The bond or other form of security shall be set at $100,000 per mile for each haul road. Bond shall be submitted to the county before any part of this agreement will become effective. 8, warranties. A, X warrants that it shall perform and complete all improvements and or additional maintenance made to haul roads under this agreement in a good, respectable, and workmanlike manner. B, X warrants that all improvements and or additional maintenance made to the haul roads under this agreement shall be free from defects in material and workmanship for the applicable warranty period. X shall remedy any defects in any improvements and or additional maintenance performed hereunder by X and its subcontractors during the applicable warranty period. The warranty period will be 1 full calendar year from the termination of this agreement. After the warranty period, X may request from the county a release of liability of this agreement. 9, sale of X. X agrees to immediately inform the county of any thought, plan, idea, or attempt to sell out to another entity before any sale occurs, if any. B, if for any reason X is sold, the purchasing entity will accept, absorb, assume, and will be bonded by any and all obligations, responsibility, and liability set forth by the terms of this agreement. The county reserves the right to accept or deny any reviews and or revisions to this contract if requested by the purchasing entity. C, X agrees to ensure that the purchasing agency is made aware of this agreement, and the purchasing X will, in writing, agree to accept this agreement as part of the acquisition of X. D, if the purchasing entity refuses or denies entering into this agreement, the county reserves the right to terminate the agreement and ban or evict the purchasing entity from the use of county roads for any and all forms of activity in association X and may take legal action if necessary. E, if sale of X and or the ban eviction shall occur to the purchasing agent, X understands that the county will not accept, absorb, assume, nor be assigned or responsible for any agreements made between X and any landowner or other entity or anyone else, and that X understands they must fulfill the agreements in its entirety at its own expense. X understands that if purchasing entity refuses to absorb this agreement, X shall still be bound by this agreement until the purchasing entity enters into an agreement with the county.
I'm gonna just rework the hell out of that entire section because it's a mess.
You have to rework the whole thing.
The whole, it's the, yeah, it's a disaster kind of, but we'll get it figured out. Like that, if they, if they think about selling, they don't have to tell us. Just prior to any sale going through, once they've entered into a contract to sell, then that'll trigger a lot of stuff. But I'm just gonna rework it. It's not worth trying to massage as we sit here.
Okay.
Okay, and termination. A. This agreement may be terminated by the county when any of the following occurs. I. Violation by X of any of the items. F. Violation by X of any of the terms of this agreement, and such violation does not give rise to a dispute pursuant to Section 8 of this agreement and continues for 15 days after X's receipt of written notice from the county, provided, however, in the event such violation cannot by its nature be cured within 15 days after receipt of written notice from the county, X shall have such longer period of time as reasonably necessary to cure such violation, so long as X has commenced to cure such violation within said 15 days after X's receipt of written notice from the county, and therefore diligently prosecutes such cure to completion. 2, where continued use by X, its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees of county roads under this agreement will, in the county's reasonable determination, endanger infrastructure and or public health, safety, or welfare. Or 3, X notifies the county in writing that it has permanently ceased hauling operations, at which time a post-use assessment will be conducted and X will perform the additional maintenance required, if any, to return the haul roads to their pre-use condition to the satisfaction of the county, subject to normal wear and tear that would occur in the absence of the X's use of county roads as haul roads, all pursuant to the terms of this agreement. 4, upon termination of this agreement for any reason, X, employees, customers, contractors, or other designees shall immediately cease any and all use of the haul road for any operations covered by this agreement. The termination of this agreement shall not prejudice the county's right to collect damages from X that has occurred theretofore or thereafter accruing on account of X's, its employees, customers, contractors, or other designees' use of the haul route. If after termination of this agreement, X wishes to resume hauling operation, X understands that it shall request to enter into a new haul road agreement. Spelled wrong. Is that all okay?
Dan, you okay?
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Again, I'll go through that a little bit. I go through paragraph 9.
Okay. 11, disputes. A, in the event a dispute arises between the parties to this agreement, the dispute shall be submitted to an arbitrator for resolution and determination. The arbitrator shall be selected by agreement of both parties. If the parties cannot agree on an arbitrator shall be appointed by the Board of Prairie County Commissioners. The findings of the arbitrator shall be final and conclusive as to the parties. Arbitration shall be complete within 90 days of the selection of the arbitrator. The cost of arbitration shall be apportioned by the arbitrator according to the principle that the losing party should pay the winning party's cost.
Fantastic if we win.
If we win on that one, we're in good shape.
Consider the prospect of, challenging next era having to win an arbitration and the county paying their cost. You might just consider what that would be. Just have to know.
Okay. Well, venue. A, this agreement is governed by the laws of the state of Montana. The parties hereto agree that any litigation concerning this haul route agreement must be brought in the 7th Judicial Court in and for the County of Prairie, State of Montana. The prevailing party shall be entitled to payment of costs and attorney's fees. 13, compliance with laws and regulations. A, X shall comply with all federal, state, county, and city laws and regulations. 14, severability. A, if any portion of this agreement is held invalid, it shall have no effect upon the
Validity.
of the remaining portions of this agreement. 15, scope and construction of terms. The definitions of this agreement shall control the meaning of terms used herein. Where no definition is expressly stated herein, a term shall have that meaning clearly identified by or reasonably implied from the context in which each such term is used. Notifications. All notices and oral or written communications related to this agreement may be forwarded to Prairie County Road Department. Attention, Todd Henry. 421 Hoagland Avenue, Prairie, Montana, 59349.
Should we put our county attorney on there too?
Good
Yep.
deal.
Yep.
I think that would be a good
We put whoever
idea.
we want.
I'll probably add a binding paragraph on 17 because the agreement's binding on any heirs, successors, and assigns. Regardless of what we do with paragraph 9, we want to have that in there somewhere in 9 or otherwise.
Whatever you think, you're the
You're keeping us on the,
great man.
right,
I would rather just say that I mean, really, this whole paragraph 9 and the sale,
Yeah.
all we really have to say is if the company is sold, they're bound by this agreement.
Yeah.
You know, that any bonds would have to be updated perhaps. I don't know that we want to get into like us approving their sale because of a road agreement. They're gonna,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
like,
simply.
we got a multi-billion-dollar sale on the table, but we gotta contact Prairie County. Right, that's, I don't think that's gonna go.
Okay. Todd, this first one, is that exhibit A?
Well, I think exhibit A was something that they need to provide.
Wasn't that the map?
The
That's
map
the map,
that they need.
What's this here?
This is all just,
acknowledgement.
who's gonna have to sign off on this. Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
I think you should look at exhibit B,
What's that?
look at exhibit B.
What was it to be?
Traffic estimates,
Was what?
traffic estimate.
Oh.
Exhibit B.
That's their exhibit. What you're saying.
Whatever you put on there. Exhibit B.
Oh,
I'm guessing it's
oh, this is just kind of an example of what they need to provide, I believe.
Yeah, what?
This is something Mike has put in there.
So we have those like 40,000.
Yeah, we kind of had what they have now.
40,000 vehicles in
Yeah.
a 2-year period,
Yeah. That's
one way.
That's what exhibit B will end up being.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40,000.
That's insane.
It is. It is. The other things that I thought about putting in is, in this, of course, this isn't gonna change this, there's no bridges out there. In our town, on there, thank God.
This.
But something that we should put in here for future, some other business wants to come in and do something, we should have something more about bridges on liability after if they replace them. Should be a 5-year liability on them. That they have to cover for 5
Warranty,
years.
5
Like kind of a
years.
warranty deal,
If they have to replace the bridge,
if they end up replacing bridges or something. Like some kind of 5-year warranty that is. You know,
Don't fall apart.
so they don't just go out there and put a Band-Aid on it.
well, most generally, they're gonna have an engineer like we hire, and
Right.
it'll be an engineered structure. I just don't know if we would have to go into that kind of detail with it, really.
I mean, like Dennis said, it has to be engineered. It's a public improvement. It's gonna be
Okay.
subject to all the extra requirements that we have that non-government do not have. You know,
So we wanna have something in there about
Well,
if
should we have,
there's a replacement of a bridge,
yeah,
it should be engineered.
it has to be. There's no way around it. It's required by law.
We have to have
They
it
can't just replace
engineered.
bridges without our permission, and we're
Nope.
going to make sure everything's engineered.
Yeah.
We have to.
One other thing, if there is an accident on it, be like, keeper, you need to know if there's been an accident out there between X and X, X and X, to get in, or and they wanna cover something up.
Yeah, they absolutely have to report it to local law enforcement.
Okay.
And there's state statute that also covers that, so if they don't, we find out about it, then they're in a lot of trouble, but
But I don't know if we want something in our agreement with that, or. I don't know.
It's already required by law.
Right.
I guess my only question would be is if a lot of these people are from out of state, they are not gonna know our laws compared to their laws. And I know ignorance is no defense of law, but
They're not gonna be reading this contract either. If it's just.
that's true. So,
Track.
Yeah. I just, thought I brought it up.
yeah, we're covered there for sure by state statute.
I think we ought to agree with Todd. I think we need to put something in there about bridges, whether it's focused in on Nextera or whoever.
Because, yeah, there's really nothing in here that says, even like a culvert job, big culvert job or something, that there's nothing in there that says it should be engineered. Because we've taken out bridges without doing engineering and put in culvert ourselves.
You're not supposed to be telling people that.
But we are also, when we do that, we are liable for that.
Yeah.
From here on out.
I don't know, where would a good place be? Put a note about bridges.
I never did see it.
I didn't know, I don't know where we're gonna put it.
The definition of improvements.
Yeah, I guess that could be, yep.
Or just including bridges with engineering as required by the county.
Just so that we've got something to look back on.
Pretty good document.
Future.
Yeah.
That's good. When you read through it, I think.
That was kind of all I had to maybe add to this.
Now what?
Public hearing here in
Yeah.
15 minutes.
You guys can make their comments on it, I guess. I'll take break, more than basket.
So true.
A lot of paper in this room.
What are you mumbling about?
You said we killed the tree. I said, I'm agreeing with you. There's a lot of paper in this room. That's a lot of trees. We ain't got any left in Prairie County.
Not when we have another wind. Broke.
No, it's not. $47,613. Pretty good. Worked out. So somebody telling me for sure. And that's what we first time. Oh. Yes. Before I have to come, he was a little talking about it some more.
Yeah, I mean, none of that, go with you having the opportunity. Here, respond.
Yeah.
If you don't want it to happen, you don't have it. If you don't want it to happen, don't have it. Have to get things to blow away. So I think it's. It's easier, but it's easier to be. It's not making sense to me.
On the road agreement, you guys have anything you wanna add?
Yeah.
Guess that was the question, if we gotta wait till 4:30 or are
Well,
you gonna have two comments at 4:30 or? Or just give people time?
just make, if you got
probably just get started early, so.
You should stay the agenda.
Yeah, gotta stay on the agenda.
I'll be,
So yes, you should start this week. I think.
I gotta be gone by 4:45, I'm at 5:30.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Develop.
so you suggest that we can start early?
It takes their comment, we gotta keep it open through the comment period before. Sure.
Right.
Yeah, if you wanna comment on the road haul agreement,
I'll have to wait for. People to come in.
everybody left.
They should be back early. Yeah, I was reading their exhibit. Actually called it attachment, yeah. Where they take off in 253 up XIP. Their, loaded or empty truck, empty. Was at, 43,000. Empty. That means there's 43,000 going up. So, but almost, there's almost 90,000. That's crazy. Dennis thinks he has a lot more hours in a year. And I haven't known, I've made it over that road in a year. I couldn't imagine trying to maintain 90,000.
I do see that. So I'd rather have it. Another great example. Hardware store. I was pulled off the equipment that they went on. Well, if they were finding that through, deceased people, they don't somehow do the second for things. So it's not great picture. It took off, that much, all of a sudden, you don't need any, great, to set it a tire. I mean, but I don't think so. They're not, they're gonna want to do. Anyway, it's gonna be bigger jobs to just take, otherwise the picture change it, I don't know how later. There you go. Don't send it to them. I got a pretty dang lucky. Yeah, this is, you know. Yeah, I had to keep the house. Keep it like that. So that person says, we don't worry about just breaking into these weird small. So I didn't think you better do that unless you have some really good paperwork saying they physically own that house outright. Not a bank, not anybody but them. So I don't know if you can do it or not, but it's the term of the shit show. I think it's a scam.
But usually they work real.
I would think so. This one just doesn't sound right to me.
Sometimes they'll get stuff in their eyes.
Yeah, but that's a random stranger that they hired over the phone to just break in. So,
You know, that's always.
you hear about
But yeah, those two chairs, they've been sitting like that for a long time.
Back, like I said, here, and
Yeah.
you're watching.
What's wrong with them two chairs? They've been sitting like that for a long time.
Hey, we got capital project.
They was out with last week.
Until the end of
5
time.
years.
I think somebody's tried to glue them or something.
5 years plus payment of taxes.
Oh, really?
5 years of occupancy plus payment of taxes.
Oh.
5 years.
So you thought-
It won't. It's,
I'm glad to hear that. Me too. When I see that on TV, I think, geez, how can they do that?
I think they're disappointed. I would have moved in next time you left to go somewhere.
The keys over on the door, you smooth in over.
Well, I could do that too.
Then I take care of horses and.
Yeah, yeah. I take care of the snakes for you. That's the best I can offer you though.
I told you the snake story, didn't I?
Yeah.
I jumped down in a well pit one time. And it had a square cover on a round culvert and there was shit on the corner. Put that up and went down in there and a rattlesnake was right at my nose.
Oh.
And he went that way and I went that way. My hands and stuff, I just jumped out there with my hands.
It's amazing how far you can jump.
It's amazing what you can
And
do.
they say white men can't jump, baloney.
Yeah, I think there's a little truth into that.
Yeah, I've done it many times. I've done, stood flat footed and jumped right in the back of a pickup with the tailgate closed.
Didn't even know you could do
I
that,
didn't
did you?
know I could do that.
Last year when we worked on the well pit down at the fairgrounds, I'm down in the well pit and Jordan's outside of it. He was down there welding on the casing for us and he yelled snake. I'm stuck in the bottom of the well pit and I don't want to get out, so I don't know if it's right there next to my ladder or what the heck. Pretty soon he comes running up, he went and got my 17 out of the pickup, comes running up and stands right over the top of the well pit and shoots the snake. It's clear out in the middle of the yard. Holy cow, did my ears ring. I wish he would have let me get out of the well pit first.
You know, sometimes I'm not sure, it's just not better to have that guy strike.
What? What?
The last time I-
Exactly.
And I need to work on the header, so.
He got the same over there. It was Bill's bed. He wasn't very happy.
And when I
I
back.
just hope to keep your ass out.
Bull snake.
Yeah, about knocking himself out, I thought, Jack, you just let that guy get me.
Those bull snakes, when they get big, they get pretty bold.
Yeah, they can.
Because what he said, where you can,
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
But they're good Mausers.
I'm down there. I'm cabin cooking rattlesnake on the road, so I just thought to get the shell. By the time we get to it.
What's interesting is the only venom,
I
the only snake the venom will kill on a rattlesnake is a rattlesnake.
Really? Pocket vibrated.
You thought it was just like was in your pocket.
It's like that, I was
Fight a
standing.
bull snake and doesn't.
In one move, I was standing in the middle of the building. But yeah.
That's hilarious.
It would have to be Craig. Craig was the one that got, I chewed his butt.
Oh, that's funny. Good reason not to ever put your phone on vibrate for sure. But you're out in snake country.
When I was in a BLM, they just come out with them cell phones. I had it on vibrate, and we're just coming, first time, I think, first meeting we had in the courthouse, and BLM was in here, all their line management stuff, big meeting. The thing buzzed in my pocket, I jumped up, I thought a snake had me or something, I had never had a buzz in my pocket before.
Oh, man. Hey, Lon? I'm gonna put that cow guard in tomorrow, I think.
Okay, I'll be home.
Okay, I still need the petition. For the commissioner to use it.
Okay. Do I need to get a sign today?
I don't think so, but you can do that today.
If you have time.
Hey, let's do it.
Yeah, otherwise might forget.
Yeah, please do.
You don't have, well, I think I might even actually have one here. Hey, oh, look.
What do you got?
I know he's with it, but you know what? There's always next week. And the week
Right
after
there.
that, and the week after that, they just keep coming.
Wow.
You don't know, they just.
What did you need to know?
Yeah, I do.
It's just crazy how much that story. We're so blessed. It's working well.
So we can measure and do all that stuff. Okay, but we will, and then you can.
Yep, I've got some notes on it, so as soon as.
You can check me out.
See if I can even get some, but I think I can through Northwest. Okay, good. How you doing, Mr. Larson? You don't know?
Nobody's told me yet.
Yeah, talk to
That's
Jeff.
kind of the way it is.
No, she left me. She's been gone all week.
There's the problem. You're just a lost soul at this point, aren't you?
Blind and. I can help you out there.
I she waited until the fair was over before she left.
Well, there you go, yeah.
I think I got it's section 15, the northeast to the northeast, and it's BLM land, you know.
Yeah.
But it is in the road.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure it's all on BLM, because I don't know where the section line is there.
Could be.
It's right down the middle of the road.
Should be. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, by me.
Vaughn, you sounded pretty good this weekend at the fairgrounds.
Oh, good. Especially when they cussed on the mic.
They can't.
That wasn't good.
What they try to do is knock
Oh,
you out.
the girls had the deal won and their steer got up and I said, oh, shit.
You just echoed what everybody in the grandstand said.
Yeah, yeah.
That did come up in multiple conversations.
Yeah. Well, when you hire cheap help, that's what you get.
Yeah,
Get what you paid for, right?
yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. I probably would have done worse.
On today's date in.
Lonnie, I think you might do that every year though.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
I think you might do that every year, Ranch Rodeo.
Yeah.
Slip up here and there.
Well, sometimes the switch on the mic don't turn off very easy.
Yeah.
You gotta be pretty careful about the conversations you have. Especially when it comes to the times, you know, you got two timers and we're trying to, it's never exactly the same, you know, and there's always some calculation of how you split the two times to get a, you know, and it takes some pretty quick mental math sometimes.
Do that
Best
there.
way to do that, take two stopwatches.
What is this?
Cattle guard commission.
Well, we have two people with two stopwatches. But we gotta split, you know, we gotta compromise.
Take average.
Never gonna get the same, yeah.
Take the average.
If they are, you're lucky.
That's the best way to do it.
So we just concluded our land planning board meeting. And we approved our bylaws with the changes that you guys mentioned to use the word land in front of planning board so that every time the land planning board is mentioned, it's the same throughout the document. And that's the only changes that we really have. Per your recommendation, and so we voted to approve the bylaws, and that'll be contingent on you guys approving.
Is that the draft that we received?
Yeah, that's a draft. Well, with the land word added a
Added
few
to
times
it.
in there, so if you want us to give you another one,
No.
that's up to you.
You have it though, don't you?
We don't have it printed out yet with the land word added.
It has to be an action item on your agenda and attached to review.
Well, I think we're on your agenda for the 20th,
Correct.
sometime in the afternoon. So we can furnish that to you.
Yeah, furnish it to us,
Yeah.
final, your final draft.
They looked at the every unit.
Final draft and final recommendation to the commissioners for approval.
So we voted in our minutes to approve it and give it to you guys. And then we also, voted to approve our growth policy. Okay, and recommend it to you. And so we're gonna try to have a PDF available Friday evening, like on the website, or Monday maybe. And then we're gonna get you a printed hard copy by next Wednesday, the 13th.
Is that the Prairie County website you're gonna have it on?
Hopefully, yeah. And so you'll have a week to look it over. And, then on the 20th, you can tell us that you think what we did is adequate, or you may have some changes, you know, that you think should be made. But we're kind of, I mean, we had 2 public hearings instead of 1. And then we also took some personal public comment after the second hearing because somebody couldn't attend that hearing and made changes on their recommendations. But I think that we've about wrestled with this thing as long as we want to wrestle with it.
Time to turn loose.
Yeah. And so we're gonna present it. We're gonna give you the draft by the 13th hard copy, you know, and then we'll be, I guess you guys can tell us what you think during our time slot at your
The
August
20th.
20th meeting. And I sent Todd some weather stuff, cause our last, what do you call that, public comment didn't like our weather comment in our growth plan. And so I didn't know if I should send all 3 of you, but I sent Todd an email with, I put quite a few hours of homework into this.
Did some research on what
Historical weather stuff.
Anywhere from 9 inches to 16.
Yeah, for an annual average. So the bottom of our precipitation is somewhere around 6, and the top is somewhere around 21. Those are the records. Okay,
Yeah.
and I made a statement or we made a statement in our growth plan that, 2010 to 2014 were extremely wet years, and 2015 to 2024 were much drier. And so we had somebody comment that they didn't think that was true. And so I used the data that they furnished to say that the average 5-year annual average precip from 2010 to 2014 was 15.71 inches in Terry. And the annual average from 2015 to 2024 in Terry was 12.08. So the statement that those 5 years were wetter and the, what do you call it, ensuing 10 years were quite a little drier, was true. And now in the email that I sent Todd, the driest 10-year period I could find, and this is Fort Keogh data, was 1930 to 39, and the 10-year annual average was 9.61. Okay, and the ties for the 2 wet time periods were 1908 to 1916 and 2010 to 2014.
Hey, Senator, if it is 4:30.
Yeah, well, 2012, I got 5 inches.
We'll open up for public comment. Once, sorry.
So,
Shane,
Shane Eaton, Prairie County, so that's just public comment or the public comment?
on anything.
Anything? That's all trying to get through, I don't think this agreement says anything here about closing the roads. Next there, it has that in their agreement where they want to have, to give the county a 24-hour notice when applicable to close the roads. I don't see that in here at all. Not sure if that needs to be mentioned, but that needs to be taken into account. I want to jump to this one real quick. In 3C, it talks about permits and licenses required. But are you gonna issue a road permit to a developer that doesn't have, like in this case, they don't have a power purchase agreement, they haven't presented. They haven't have approval of power line, they don't have all their easements in, like when they give us our when they gave you the map back in, I think, December, they don't have any bus road easements. So are you just going to put the cart before the horse and issue a road permit when you have an entity that doesn't have everything ready to go? But is there a timeline when they have to start using the permit? As you look at other, counties and other places around the country, they have to have all that ready before you issue these type of things. So I think that's something you should consider is, prove that you have a development before we're just gonna let you have out the roads. Number 1A, this is the whole thing a little bit confusing to me because the purpose statement says responsibility for use, maintenance and repair. Okay. But then we kind of talk about through here when they're done using the road, like a haul road, like what I think is construction. So if this is for use, maintenance and repair, this should go on for, this contract should go on for the life of the entity in the development. Should it not? Because it has maintenance right here in the first sentence.
Where are you at?
So I mean, I don't want to see this thing terminated after they have towers out in this instance. Or in Keystone, if Keystone went through and they had to make a bunch of repairs. Because it says right here, maintenance. So if we're gonna terminate an agreement, I don't think we can terminate this agreement while they're still having maintenance. Because it says right here what the purpose is for. If that makes any sense to you guys, if you follow me.
Replacing blades and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, doing anything, yeah. And so, I mean, because it said right here, the purpose statements for use, maintenance, well, we guys added, pre-use, maintenance and repair. So maintenance goes on for, in this case, 60 years.
Right.
So this agreement should go on for 60 years. So I don't know if that's really clear in here or not.
It's not what this document does, not this one or the one you based it on. It's for the development period and maintenance during that development period. But they're not gonna take over county road maintenance of these roads into perpetuity. That's not the purpose of the agreement.
I guess that's not what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I guess mine, if they do have to go out there and do some major maintenance, reconstruction, then all of a sudden, let's say in 2 years, they're done, you terminate this, 5 years from now, there's major reconstruction. This is in the burn pile. It's in the,
Well,
it's done. They can just
I
go.
think they're gonna have to sign another one if they got more.
Well, I mean, I don't wanna say I think. That's where this agreement needs to say yes or no, or what it be clarified. That's all I'm saying. I don't want, to what Dan said, I don't want them to be taking over the roads. No, but if this is supposed to be for maintenance, maintenance means like reconstruction. If there's a major reconstruction project. So I think there's something there that might be a gray area that, if we're gonna wanna protect the roads, I don't wanna see it 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, they have to come and redo a whole bunch of stuff. And we can't grab them and make them sign another one. I'll try to keep going so I don't consume all the time. And the warranty part, they have it on page 2 there, and then you talk about warranty in the end, but who signs the warranty? So, it says 1 year after completion date. And it talks about 1 year after termination at the end, we give them the warranty.
Where you at?
Well, they're different places. I mean, page 2, we're on 2B for definition. Then the back where we have
Have a full
warranty,
warranty period.
we have warranty in number 8, in the back of page 10. Are we gonna document? Or are we just gonna say all road? I know you guys talked about bridges. But it talks about improvements, you talked a little bit about, culvert being a little bit longer, warranty and a bridge a little bit longer warranty. For warranty, again, if they wreck a culvert doing, reconstruction, then they don't have to fix it evidently. If this is just for 2 years of construction, then the warranty, then there is no more, but they don't have to fix anything.
I understood it as 1 year after completion of construction.
Well, 1 year after completion, but 1 year after termination. And I guess I would not terminate the contract until the warranty, period has expired. I mean, I think you can say, this is when we're done, constructing, here's a warranty period, then we terminate. I wouldn't terminate this and have a warranty for 1 year. I think that's kind of what it reads.
1 year after.
Yeah, so the warranty period would be 1 full calendar year from the termination of this agreement. I wouldn't want to throw an agreement away than just be stuck with a warranty. Because if they have to go back and fix everything, this agreement is over and done with. And maybe I'm splitting hairs here a little bit, but when we have the number of vehicles and things going down the road, I think the warranty is gonna come into play a lot more than we think. So I think that's something that should seriously be looked at as far as when we terminate and when we release them from warranty.
So all you're saying is this road haul agreement should stay in place through that warranty period, is that?
Yeah, that's not, I don't think we should terminate the agreement.
The warranty is enforceable for a year after this agreement is terminated, is what it says. It doesn't mean that you don't refer back to the agreement. The warranty terms are dictated by the contract that they're signing here.
But then if you go above in number 7 for the bond terminates at the termination of the agreement. So if we terminate the agreement on January 1st, December 31st, there's a warranty they need to fix. The bond was done on January 1st. They just walk away. I mean, unless you want to try to sue them, there's no bond. The bond's done.
We'll add the later of expiration of warranty periods or termination.
So that's where I get, because I have experience with these type of companies, and I'm just telling you what I have experience in. Is the worst case scenario. So I mean, yeah, the bond is done before the warranty, and I don't know that that's correct either.
Should this be non-expiring? Now, I'm just asking a question, throwing something out there. Should this be non-expiring? Because through the life of this thing, there's a 20-year life expectancy, but at that time, there's gonna have to be tower replacements, blade replacements, and that road will be used again for the same type stuff.
Well, that's my point is the number 1, page 1A, where the purpose statement is for use, maintenance, and repair. I mean, that's what it says right there. So yes, I mean, we're all gonna be gone for 20 years. And then what are we gonna leave for the next county attorney and commissioners? Yeah, we wanna make sure we get this thing done. So I agree. I do think it should go on. I mean, in all honesty, for taxpayers, that's what I think.
I'll expire in 20 years, you will not.
Well, history tells me it probably will, but anyway, we'll debate that later. But yeah, I think it should be a lot longer. I mean, for the life of the project. I'll try to get through some more here if I can, unless you want me to stop.
Don't keep going.
It's a definition, doesn't really, I don't know if it matters, but, as Thomason brought up on number 2. On haul road definition, we should probably add it. I mean, I'm not sure why it's not in this one, but this one we don't have like contractors or other, designated, authorized designees. Not sure if you want to have that in there or not.
What do you mean?
But like in other parts,
For who's using it?
what's that?
You mean for who's using it?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's already in there somewhere, but I'm not sure if it needs to be in there or not. 'Cause I think you guys added in employees.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Do you add a
We can add,
contractor?
we can sure add contractor.
I would say personnel is a better word than employees.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, contractor authorized designees, because that's in other parts of the agreement. On page 2, I think I would add in fences, because who owns the fence from the cattle guard to the 30 feet,
The landowner owns it, but
okay? Well, I mean, I would make sure they repair it, because I'd hate to have them put in a new cattle guard and not fix the fence.
right.
I thought I read that in there,
Well, in our
It talks about it,
detach it.
that they have
Talk
to,
about, they're okay.
It did when if they were gonna widen it out or do any altercations to it, they were responsible for the fence.
Okay,
Fences within the right of way.
Yeah.
There was a question on I, is there a routine maintenance policy? Already,
Not really, no.
not one like laying around,
Not written.
okay? I'm not sure if there needs to be, but that was one question we haven't been reading it.
Mother Nature doesn't let us know when she's gonna dump on us.
Do we have the ability in the county in this agreement to impose weight restrictions at any time? Yes or no? I mean, I don't know if they're expecting not there to be any weight restriction imposed. But then, let's say they start constructing and we see bad things and we need to put on weight restrictions, is that allowed in here?
Too late. That's one thing we need to do, get through our road policy and make some updates on our road policy too. Like I was saying earlier today about North Dakota, puts on every spring, they put on weight limits. You know, just help save their roads, and we need to look at that, and doing that.
Some of my research in past commissioner minutes, there have been weight limits, but I don't think it's universal.
Yeah, the county's put on weight limits a lot of times, but I'm just talking in regards to this agreement. For them, you know, let's say you got, 34,000 on an axle and they got 50,000 with no weight permit. And they're taking, 500 of those trucks up there. Are we gonna let them do that, or are we gonna put in a weight limit sometime? I just wanna make sure if you're going to, that this doesn't say you can't. Unless you specifically do not wanna ever put on a weight restriction.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I think it's something that isn't really mentioned in here, but that might come into play. And then this road agreement might say, you can't do it. In H on page 3 there, it talks about written specifications of the county, is that gonna be written specifications based like, from the road foreman? Is that who's gonna do it, or does it have to be like an improvement? That might have to come from an engineer. And I'm not sure if there'll be a cost associated with that. On H.
Section 3H, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have in there the curvature of the road, and different things, but, if they have to do, like you talked about earlier, a bridge or a culvert, maybe you guys already talked about that.
I'm gonna add that Shane may require engineering at their cost.
Yeah, well, that's just something that, let's see here, then page 4, what are we on, 3? Well, it's in 3I, J, K, L there on the aggregate, and the plasticity and gradation requirements. I don't think I've signed it, but what happens if we take a sample and it doesn't pass? They gotta go take it all out?
They either take it out or go add what needs to be added to it.
You know what I mean? So I mean, is there like a penalty, or is there, what's the, we have that they have to sample it, but we don't say what happens if they fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to move a fence one time about 8 feet. So I mean, if they're supposed to put on this much rock, beside the rock, and they put it on that side of the rock.
Yeah.
Add something like inadequate test results will,
Yeah, I mean, I just think there should maybe be a repercussion,
There are some consequences, yeah.
or some way to cure it, or do something, I don't know.
Make it fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying,
But they gotta peel it off, all do it in, or
just add to it.
take out what they put in.
It'd be easier to just add another
It
load.
would be, yeah.
I don't know, I'd go to page 5.
The pages are numbered, but you can do so. The very next paragraph talks about weight limits must be followed, just so you're seeing that.
Right, that's for the state though. Or does it say? Oh,
Middle of the page from exhibit C. It just says weight limits.
all weight limits. Okay, yeah, so I mean, if
All
all,
clarify established by county or other.
Yeah, so I mean, weight limits, I mean, before it says, permits from the state. So your guys aren't numbered, okay?
just say section and then what
Okay.
Can I add something real quick on that permit from the state part? If you don't mind me interrupting, Shane.
Go ahead.
Permit through the state through overweight permit, getting one from the state is gonna be way different on a state highway than it is on one of our county roads. So these overweight vehicles that are permitted to drive on our county roads are gonna destroy the county roads compared to what damage they would cause on the state highways. You don't understand what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
But the haul roads is their responsibility to maintain too.
That's true, but
So it's overweight is a detriment to them.
the permit through the state, though, I mean, that really doesn't mean anything for our county roads.
No.
So,
Well, if they wanna drive on the road, they gotta not overweight their trucks.
yeah.
That's simple math.
Well, no, we have to protect that, because if they're gonna, just a 400,000 pound crane coming down our county road, they're gonna have to have that road built up so it can sustain that, or they can't even travel on it. And then once they travel on it, it's gotta be passable by farm to market. That road has to be viable, and it needs to be in this agreement.
I go to page 5, which is like V3V, Victor.
Yeah.
Talked a lot about, notification by phone or email, and he just said, just put a notification, but I would make sure if they do notify it, that somehow it is followed up or documented in some fashion,
Somehow, yeah.
because as he said, she said, that's okay. I mean, if you say, yeah, I got it, just send me an email or
Yeah.
something so we can document this, like a receipt
Yeah.
of some type. Go to page 6, where are we on? CC, there's the weed spraying part.
Dr. Green, yeah.
Jessica brought up a good point. When we do noxious weeds, I guess there's grasses and broadleaves both. They got different chemicals. And then what happens if they do get out of the right of way? The landowner's gotta come after them.
I would think so.
The landowner's gotta go after, a contractor. And we'd have to track them down.
Chemical they use should be,
But I have to admit, we've had several chemical kills. And, usually it's easier taken care of because it's a neighbor. But,
Shane, I plan on adding to that, and they'll indemnify any adjacent landowners for damaged crops and whatnot. That's already on my notes.
good deal.
Done covered.
Something Keeper had said too, that when he sprays, you're bonded to spray. And that's, when they drift, they might,
Bonding must be proved.
Well, it's in there, I think it's, there was something in there, I thought,
Not on the spraying, I don't think.
that they had to have. Or in accordance to the MNWCA. So it's gonna have to be a contractor that's just,
It's bonded.
Anyway, if Dan's got something written
Yep.
in there, that's great. Now I go to page 7, which is 4, the pre-use assessment. I'm just worried, we don't back ourselves in the corner when we give 10 days. Cause it might
I
be,
thought that was a little short too.
might be a long weekend, it might be raining out. I might have vacation, he's, going to Vegas. Or wherever the road foreman is, I don't know, the 10 days, in 10 days is usually all we kind of do the assessment part. The pre-assessment, the post-assessment, I think 10 days. Like,
15 be better than.
well, I'm not sure what's
2 weeks.
better, but I'm just saying, I think 10 days might,
10 days might be a little short.
Mine says short right on it.
yeah, I mean,
But I think it's up to Todd to say what's a reasonable amount of time though.
I would say 30.
yeah.
Yeah. so I mean, whatever you're gonna do there, 10, I just don't think is gonna be fair for the.
let's do that 30 days.
Cause that's down through there in the.
It's in quite a few places.
It is, so I mean, I don't wanna go through every one of them and find them.
Sometimes it says 15. I like 30 days for anything that the county has to do.
That's a good idea.
Page 9, number 6, E is in dog. Toward the end of the paragraph, it talks about the county, except to the extent that such claims result from the apparent or proven negligence, recklessness, or willful misconduct of the county. I don't know if we're gonna write the agreement, I think on apparent maybe. Not sure, because here we're talking about lawsuits and liabilities. So I probably wanna make it something a little more than apparent, maybe you can't.
The whole section is gonna get heavily
Oh,
reworked.
that's right.
This whole section is just kind of out there.
Garbage, it's
I
garbage.
was gonna rework it and send it back to the commissioners to look at.
And then in the liability section, part 6E, you know, we talked about it for a second. You know, 5 million occurrence, 5 million aggregate, then talk about that one, I would make it a lot. Well, I'd move it up there because 5 million is like decades old. And I put it at 15 million. I mean, because if I'm going to town and there's trucks, you know, and I've got 40,000 coming at me and I got none there with my family, 5 million for 5 million been cut. I know this is with respect to the county liability, but we need to think about the people living out there. 'Cause that's who you guys.
Landowners.
Yeah. And
What would you think, Shane, of making the haul roads one way?
I don't think that could be possible.
You're gonna have twice as many autos there.
yeah, I haven't thought about that, I guess. I haven't looked at them enough to see what they're doing, where they're doing, how much, you know, I've been able to spend any time on that. In this part here, and this is one I think is super important. Yeah, they have a certificate of liability, right? 5 million and whatever you got for an aggregate, 15 million, 20 million, whatever. But there needs to be a specific addendum to the policy for hazardous material coverage of any and all claims. Because you can have a liability policy with exceptions. Because there is a lot of exceptions on your liability policy. Probably aren't told that, but there is. So if somebody's going down the road with a big tanker of something and it spills and it gets into dribbles over into a well and contaminates as well, what's it worth? Are they covered? Are they covered for that? I mean, this is an industrial complex development, and these type of things happen. So a specific hazardous material coverage for any, and that's a big word, I know it's not a 4-letter word, but it's a 3-letter word, any and all claims. So, I mean, that's something that I would really look into and I'd be adamant about. Go to page 10, number 7, the bond, how much does it cost to build a road, Mr. Road Foreman?
I just asked the state this morning, and they were here, and they, of course, they're different levels than we are, but it's $1.5 million a mile per interstate.
Well, I had $250,000 down instead of 100.
Million and a half each lane.
So, I mean,
So it's just like that rebuild job they got going on out there, it's $1.5 million.
Not both
That's
lanes,
just
just
one
one.
lane.
Well, that's one.
I think it's 120, I think it was 110,000 doing one block of sidewalk. When they did the sidewalks last year. It was over 100,000 doing just the sidewalk over here.
Because that's the state spending money too. I
Well,
understand, yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, I think that 100,000 low, that's what, Michael and I agreed on at the time when they put this together in February or whatever.
yeah, so I mean, I would look into that and come up with a number that works
Yeah, and,
for the taxpayers.
yes,
Because we don't wanna get stuck in an instance where we get stuck, my opinion.
and it's gonna be a deal too where it's a rebuild, it ain't gonna be a new road.
Well, I mean, yeah, so I don't know, I don't know, is it gonna be so much to rebuild it, how bad was it wore out?
Well,
All those different
yeah, you
things.
don't know,
You break
you
through.
don't know until the situation's there.
And then I guess, page 12 at the end, number 16, you know, the written notification, you know, you guys talked about that in the county attorney. And that's great, and I would just make sure I add in the county commissioner, because, you know, they're the ones signing the page. So I'll make sure that they're included in it. written.
Everybody's on.
Good.
You know, but the big thing that when I haven't read next year's proposal, but I did get enough far enough to say, you know, they wanna close roads. And give the county 24 hours notice if, not, what was the term? Reasonably applicable or something. And so that can't ever happen.
Why
That's
would
on
they,
their agreement, so.
Well, I know, and so they're gonna come back to do that.
they're wanting to close roads?
Yeah, to close roads, because, if I have to deliver calves and I load up and I'm coming down Bow Route with 3 semis and I gotta stop for 8 hours. That doesn't work. If Thomas sends our hauling cattle out to Mount Antelope and they get loaded up and they're going that way and they gotta sit for 8 hours, I mean, these things.
Yeah.
And their agreement sounds like that's what they're gonna do.
Well, they told us last meeting, rerouting traffic.
And so rerouting traffic, I mean, are you talking about a little, electric vehicle, Yugo type thing? Are we talking, you know, a hay train, you know, agriculture vehicles? And so that's, and when things are time sensitive, if I can't go down bad route, or maybe they got, you know, farther up blocked off, then you know, where can I turn around? Maybe I can't. If I go back the other way to Glendive, you know, I miss my timing. So the closing of the roads is gonna come up, and so I think you guys should have an answer on that. Should be no.
Yeah.
I agree.
Sorry for taking up so much time, but there's just, the big.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I think Dan's gonna talk about that, or look at number 11 on the disputes. You know, losing party covers all costs.
I'm nervous about that, yeah.
I'm not sure if there's some way you can rewrite that, or whatever else
I
there is.
mean, the American system, we each pay our own generally, unless you have a contractual provision that says otherwise, and I don't know that I ever wanna see us stuck with their attorney fees.
Yeah, so I mean, that was the other one there, but I think Dan was gonna look at that, but anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Shane.
Any more public comment?
You cover what you wanted to ask, Jess?
Aaron?
Aaron Martinson, you guys talked about the tag axle deal, gotta try and find it again now. The section 3 agreement for road haul use, and you drop down to P. Execute with and will ensure that any and all tractor trailers with tag axles loaded. Any and all tractor trailers. What about a cement truck? That's not a tractor trailer. It should be straight trucks and combination
Yeah.
vehicles.
Tractor.
Trailer.
You wanna add tractor to it?
Well, it should be
Yeah.
all straight trucks and combination vehicles.
Sure.
Because they might be bringing just a straight dump truck up here, like the state would use, with tag axle on it.
Where was that?
Some of them have 3 or 4 tag axles on them.
Yeah, exactly.
P.
And cement trucks, no.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So is that
P.
correctly, tractor trailers, straight trucks and combination vehicles, or is that is one of those redundant?
Or just any
You said tractor trailers.
But
truck with
straight
tag
truck,
axle.
straight truck and combination vehicle.
Yeah, or any vehicle with
Tag axle.
tag axle.
Yep.
Yeah, got it.
Because the way I read that right now, it's just a truck with a trailer, maybe not even a truck has to put the tag axle on, maybe just a trailer.
Only if loaded though, right?
Yep. Yeah, if you have to put your tag axle down, load on empty, they may not even move.
Okay.
The other one was Shane hit on the chemical for weed control. I think that we should be able to approve what chemicals they're using. There's nothing saying they're not gonna go down the roadway with topsoil or tramitol or something like that. Not tramitol, what's this,
Ramatol.
yeah, tramitol or something like that, and just suck
Sounds
everything
good.
down.
Oh,
I think we need to have some control over what chemicals they use.
Approved chemicals.
County approved.
There was something else in there, but I don't remember what it was. Didn't write it down in hand. Then in the back, what Shane was also saying with the lifetime of the project, that's gonna be huge. They might be, every month they're gonna be bringing a crane in, who knows? Replace towers or generators or,
Repairs, maintenance.
I mean, if this ends in 2 years. And every month for the next 50 years, they're gonna be hauling something in. It's gonna destroy the roads then too, not just during construction,
I agree.
especially in the springtime.
I can't even keep up with UPS and FedEx anymore.
Following them or just trying to grade behind them?
Right behind them.
Both.
Yeah. I'm sure there's more that I was thinking of. If I think of something, I'll let you guys know. I can't think of anything else.
I just wanna agree with what Aaron said, because I was down through Wyoming not too long ago on the interstate. And you could see a big crane working on wind turbine, that they were doing something to it, and if those have been there a while, they're fixing something. It's a big crane every time they're working on it. Or every time they're gonna work on the nacelle or blades, that's what they're bringing in.
We saw that when we went to Angelo.
Yeah, Shane,
Try round two, just on something different real quick, Mr. Chairman.
sure.
Won't take very long. This is, and I haven't read this, I just skimmed it the other day at the fair, but this is, next there is the Glendive Winds Road Hall proposal. And I think what's really important, and I talked just a second on it when, Senator Sheehy's rep was here. But in the bottom of page one, it goes, also, as you may know, Glendive Wind has previously submitted a proposed developmental agreement to the county. While not necessary to allow the project to move forward, okay, the development agreement had the tax abatement. Remember? Correct? Well, they just admit they don't need it.
Well, they said that if we sign that agreement, that they would like the abatement.
So I think the abatement was in the agreement. And I haven't looked at it, but I'm pretty sure the abatement was at the bottom.
They, on their single page.
On their
development
single
agreement,
page, they outlined, they had the abatement.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then on the new developers agreement,
and maybe, I don't think I've seen the thicker one, but I know.
he put it on the internet today.
I did, I posted it today,
Okay,
so you can take a look.
and so maybe that's not in there, but I do remember the one pager, and that's what I guess I'm referencing, and maybe it's not the thick one. So, I might be wrong in that then, but
They already got abatement of 3% of tax of the market value. That's their abatement.
They're not getting one from us.
no, I know, but I mean, if there was a thick one, maybe it's not in there, and then maybe I misspoke.
It is in there.
It is, from the abatement?
On the thicker one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, so if it is, and I'm correct, they just say right here, we don't need it. And that's their right, that's them saying. So I mean, they did it to themselves. They come back at you and ask for the abatement. So well, you guys said you don't need it.
I can pretty much say it's unanimous consensus here that there won't be an abatement.
Yeah,
I
there
appreciate that.
won't be an abatement.
They already got it from the state. Legislature gave them an abatement.
Yeah.
They
Twice,
get a real sweet deal.
they don't have to pay, severance tax either. Even though it's constitutionally mandated.
Will the corrections to this road haul agreement be posted?
We'll post it.
Perfect.
Dan will clean it up, we'll post a clean one, and then we need to make comments. We need to have a conversation.
We can still go through it again. I mean, if there's more stuff that needs to be added. We still got a little time to get it all done.
I will say it does look pretty dang good though.
I think it,
For the most part.
it's just,
Becky
it
Convery
is better
made a
than what
good
Putnam
draft.
County had on there.
She was a good attorney.
I do have one comment, not about the road wall agreement, but this is just following up, and I hope to have time to get this copied off so I can give it to you. But I didn't, I wasn't able to make copies. But the last meeting, when I made a comment about, a study that was done about ground nesting birds being affected by wind turbines.
Laney, leave that open a minute.
I have the title of it, if you wanna look it up, you can look it
I'll
up.
shut it.
You have a code?
Sorry, Shelley.
Okay, the last meeting I was at, when I commented about there being a study about 9 different bird species, and that there were 7 of them, ground nesting birds that were affected by wind turbine development. I looked up, I was meant to bring a photocopy, but I don't have that with me. I wasn't able to get copies made. Anyway, the title of it that you can look up online, if you want to, is called Breeding Bird Distribution Affected by Wind Turbines in the Dakotas, and that was from July 15th, 2015. And that is from the USGS site. And it was a combination study done by USGS, which I assume is US Geological Service. And it was also in conjunction with NextEra. So that's the study that I was citing.
Dan Pike was in a first comment period and he brought us a brochure about that thick about nesting birds, what it is, the studies he's looked at.
Darktail.
There are studies. Now, he's contacted NextEra and the guy he contacted, his contact said, well, he got to talk to my boss. So Dan did call, but his boss has not returned a phone call. And those are things we need to follow up on. And because there are studies and we do know things.
Well, and this one was involved 9 different species, and none of those were sharptail. This was like meadowlarks and sparrows and bobolinks,
Killdeer.
killdeer.
How many pages is it?
What I saw might have been a summary of it, but it wasn't all that long.
You don't have it with you?
No, I don't have it with me. I can go to the library and get it printed off, I can get it to you.
You got our emails? mtdevlin@gmail.com.
They're actually on the website, I think, aren't they?
They're on the website.
They're on the website, on
Yeah.
the Prairie
Under
County website.
Prairie County, okay, prairiecounty.org.
Yeah.
Is it just a single page?
Do you have it pulled up?
Maybe. I'll have to look
Take a
at it.
look at it.
See, that's what you were talking about. If it is, it's more like an article or.
Yeah.
Then the,
Yeah, you would have to probably click on the actual study. What's a study, but this is like a summary.
Send that link to the commissioners if it's right.
Yeah. Well, if I can find the actual, or get to the actual one, I can send it to you.
Okay. Usually in those articles somewhere it cites the study they're speaking from.
That's what I should. do to make you bring this, the report, that's what I have to do, which brings you to this. Which. This part
You're
of.
done for the day.
Well, not the meeting.
Meeting.
Meeting's adjourned.
We got to town, yeah.
Go find somebody.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. They don't answer on the radio or phone.
Yeah, I found it.
That's my.
It's a good document.
Where do you usually find it?
Actually, you're gonna squeal.
Going up there.
You're gonna squeal.
You think they